This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The deal isn't done yet, but the Jaguars are expected to sign Tim Tebow to a one-year contract as a tight end. That would reunite Tebow with his former Florida Gators coach, Urban Meyer. The deal could be finalized this week or next. Mets ace Jacob deGrom will go on the injured list with tightness on his right side. An MRI showed nothing serious. As dominant as deGrom is when he's healthy, he has not thrown a no-hitter yet. There have been 4 this year. The record for a season is 8. ESPN's Jeff Passan says no-hitters are a symptom of a bigger issue.
Strikeouts, generally speaking, have gotten so out of control, and batted balls have become so infrequent that you have this perfect storm that's leading to an abundance of no-hitters.
Jeff Passan on game night. Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit is going to Baltimore for the Preakness, but trainer Bob Baffert says he won't be there to avoid being a distraction. That Derby win is now in question after a positive test for steroids.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Belated Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Hope you were treated like royalty and you mostly just sat around and did a whole lot of nothing and had people wait on you hand and foot. We got a lot to get to today. Another massive get for Will Wade. What a way to punctuate Mother's Day with a 5-star center making his commitment to Will Wade and the Tigers yesterday. Not only a commitment, paperwork's in. Done deal. Signed, sealed, delivered. Efton Reed is a Tiger. Get to that. Pell's trying to hang on. Talk to Scott Kushner next hour. Anthony Ranaudo in hour 3 as we'll talk some LSU baseball. Paul Maneri did meet with the media today. LSU's supposed to play Louisiana Tech tomorrow. Bad weather forecasted out the area. We'll see if they can get that game in tomorrow. But this weekend, LSU did what they needed to do. They went to Auburn and they took 2 out of 3. And yes, it is disappointing that they didn't finish off the sweep. It's disappointing that they wasted a pretty brilliant outing by Mikhail Hilliard, who went 7 1/3, 1 run, 4 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. But it's the thing that we've kind of talked about since they dug themselves a 1-8 hole. It's how they were going to get out of it. And they had the series win at Kentucky, and then the series loss against South Carolina. But from that point, the roadmap was there, what they were going to need to do to put themselves in position to get into a regional, and they've done it. They took 2 out of 3 on the road against Ole Miss. They avoided the sweep against Arkansas. Now they've won a road series here against Auburn and 2 series remaining. Home series against Bama and a road series against Texas A&M. You win 2 in each of those. You're at 13-17. You'll have an RPI around 20. You go to Hoover with a chance to maybe win a game or 2 to put yourself squarely into the NCAA tournament. And said it before, I'll say it again. I know that's not our goal. That's not the ambition when LSU starts a season in baseball. The expectation is you're competing for a super regional. You're going to get to Omaha. You're going to try to win a national championship. But the reality with this team is you got 3 true freshmen that are your best position players. You lost the guy at the front of your rotation to start this season. You had a heinous way to start. Do you realize that Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt, your first 3 weekends, are all in the top 8 in the RPI right now? What a brutal way to start. I mean, how different might this look if they started Auburn, Bama, Texas A&M? Maybe they get to sort of ease their way into conference play. But it's what it is, how they started. They started 1-8, and to their credit, they put themselves in a position to dig themselves out. And listen, Paul Mainieri, after they took 2 out of 3 from Auburn, talked about the importance of that. I mean, of course, you'd love to get the sweep, but they did what they had to do, go on the road and win a series.
We're capable of beating anybody, and we're capable of beating anybody, despite what the records are. So this was a hard-fought series win for us, and I'm glad we won the series. Obviously, we would have won the game 3 also. We're trying to accumulate as many wins as we can to improve our resume. So it was an opportunity lost, but every game you lose is an opportunity lost is the way I look at it. We just, couldn't hit today.
If you go back and you play the what-if game, you blew a 9th-inning lead against Tennessee. You blew a 7th-inning lead in a 7-inning game against South Carolina. You blew an 8-run lead in the 8th against Ole Miss. That's 3 games that you had won. I mean, if you had won those 3 games, the conversation we're having today is, how does LSU get into a position to host a regional? If you just held on in those games. So the margin is so thin, but this team is undeniably improved. We talked on Friday about Marceau. Was fantastic again. 3 runs, 7 hits, gave you 6 1/3. A.J. Labus didn't have his best stuff, but he battled. I hate that park at Auburn. It's a bandbox. The home run that Mikhail Hilliard gave up on Saturday, 385 to straightaway center, and Gio scaled the wall to try to bring it back. I mean, the ball, let's give it the benefit of the doubt and say it went 390. That's not even to the warning track at the box. So that's one of the things I hate about playing in a park like that. And yes, you can say both teams got to play in the same park with the same dimensions. That's true. But your approach, how your team is built, it's all very different when that's the park you're playing the bulk of your games in. LSU wasn't trying to elevate baseballs. Auburn was trying to hit everything into the air, and they got a lot of balls to leave that yard. But LSU still managed to take the series. We got to see good Devin Fontenot, who gave you 2 2/3 innings of fantastic relief, of no-run relief. And then how about Mikhail Hilliard? We've talked about him a bunch here, and I am hopeful that my and many others' take on Mikhail ends up being dead wrong. Mikhail is a guy who had, before last week against Arkansas, had not started an SEC game since 2018, since his freshman year. And there's a reason for that. He's got 1+ pitch, like we've talked about. And when he's not locating that breaking ball, he's just a very average pitcher because hitters can lay off the breaking stuff and sit fastball, which is 87, 89. So, and that's very hittable at this level. The last 2 weeks, he's been outstanding. And maybe part of it is the fact that these hitters haven't seen Mikhail Hilliard. Like, he hasn't been in the rotation since he was a freshman. So maybe hitters haven't quite adjusted. Maybe there isn't enough tape on him yet to where there's enough of a scouting report. And hopefully he can keep this up for another 2 weeks to get LSU into the SEC tournament. And if you've established a number 3 starter, it changes the entire complexity of the weekend. It changes how Paul Mainieri and Alan Dunn approach the weekend and how they use their bullpen when you know who your guy is that you're going to give the ball to in Game 3. So it would be massive if Mikhail Hilliard could keep this up. But good on him, man. As a senior, a local guy, getting this opportunity late in his senior year and is making the most of it. The thing that was obviously, if you watched the game on Saturday, Game 3, the most disappointing part was what happened in the top of the 7th. Of course, Fitz from Auburn, who was their Friday night guy to start the season. And if you were listening to the SEC Network Plus broadcast, they were talking about it. The Auburn crew was talking about it. He's a guy that came into the season with high draft ambitions and expectations. He was the Friday night guy. It didn't really work out for him. And so he's been struggling to find a role, and he was outstanding. His best outing of the year against LSU. Gave him 6 innings of 1 run. The only hit he gave up was the hit to Mikhail Hilliard, or to Trey Morgan, who homered on the that'd have been something if it was Mikhail, who homered on the first AB. But LSU's real opportunities when they chased Fitz after 6, and Swilling came in the 7th, and Doty led off with a 4-pitch walk. And they tried to hit and run. If you weren't watching the game, they tried to hit and run. Gio swung through it. It was an outside pitch. And they threw down a second. K. Doty was meat. But the umpire was in front of the bag where he was supposed to be, and the tag was on Doty's back. And the tag was clearly never made. But it's one of those things where you have to have indisputable video evidence, that phrasing. Anybody who was watching could tell he didn't make the tag. But you didn't have indisputable video evidence to overturn the call, so the call stood. And then Gio struck out. So instead of runner on second, nobody out, you end up with nobody on 2 outs. LSU would load the bases, then Milazzo lined out to the pitcher, and that wasted what was a really golden opportunity to break the game open after Fitz was out of there. And credit to Auburn. They came back and found a way to win Game 3. But LSU, again, did what they had to do. They won the series. They're on pace with 2 weekends to go to give themselves a chance to play baseball in June. And we all know it's just more fun around here when LSU's playing baseball in June. All right, it's after further review. It's going to be a really fun winter as well. You seen what the LSU basketball program is doing? My goodness. Will Wade lands another 5-star recruit. Billy Embody of Go247 is going to join us next to talk about it. Glad you're here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Stick around.
AFR.
Not too early to start thinking about dinner. Rainy day. Do you really want to cook? I don't do that. Get by Bayou Ramen, Electric Depot on Government Street. Of course, our friends at Ichiban, this is their latest concept. It is the best, most authentic Japanese ramen that you will find anywhere in Baton Rouge. There's a lot of places that are serving up ramen now, and most of them get their ramen noodles shipped in bags from different factories. Not at Bayou. Every single noodle is handmade on premise. You don't have to take my word for it. You can literally see it. They have a big glass room right there in the dining area where you can watch them making the noodles there on premise. The broth is a 30-hour process. They've got craft beer and top-shelf liquor, indoor, outdoor, all-weather patio dining. It's Bayou Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. Of course, Ichiban and Bayou, 2 authentic Japanese dining experiences. Why cook tonight? That's for the birds, man. Get by Ichiban or Bayou Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 104.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What is your personal record for consecutive sneezes? Muse, are you a one sneezer or a multiple sneezer?
I normally go two back-to-back, and then I'm good. Yeah,
I've always been just a single sneezer. That's it. Paul O'Neill just set the world record for consecutive sneezes.
It was quite impressive.
Was that 7, 8? How many was that, Paul? Christ almighty.
That was probably 7 or 8.
God, is that you? Is it typical for you?
Oh, yeah.
That many?
Once I start, I can't stop.
I believe you. Whew.
I probably did about 50 before you got in here.
That's insane. Thank God we've got the Fresh Air Mobile from mycleanliving.net, constantly purifying the air and surfaces in this room. Go to mycleanliving.net. It's this big. It's the size of a cell phone, I'm telling you. Going to Houston this weekend for UFC 262, you better believe that's going to be in my hotel room with me. mycleanliving.net. All right, great news for Will Wade. Basketball Tigers land a 5-star Efton Reed center out of IMG Academy, originally from Virginia. Billy Embody, Go 24/7. Good enough to join us now. How are you, dude?
Doing well, Matt. How are you?
Not as good as Will Wade. Oh, my God. Yeah. All right. So everyone was asking me all weekend, everywhere I went, like literally, I was at Clegg's. It's just becoming just a big plug fest here. But I was, seriously, on Clegg's. And hey, man, they get in the big center? I'm like, I have no idea. Was this a surprise, Billy?
Yeah, I don't think it was a surprise per se.
Okay.
I mean, he'd been rumored to really kind of be trending towards LSU, but the first time he was supposed to announce about probably 3 or 4 weeks ago his decision, and then delayed it. North Carolina was kind of making a push with their new staff in place. Even the G League was becoming a bigger option. And then his mom announced that he was going to make his college decision on Friday. And, when you're in recruiting, you sit around and you wait for commitments sometimes to come through. And that's what I was doing. That's what a lot of people were doing. And it never came, and it didn't come on Saturday. And Sunday, I'm sitting there on the couch, and boom, there's finally the tweet. And it's kind of shocking in that respect. But ultimately, it was LSU, and they've held a lot of the quiet confidence over the last month and a half. And just with everything going on, whenever LSU recruits a 5-star recruit, it seems like, whether it be stories that come out, the staff certainly kept their interest in how they felt tight-lipped, and it kind of ultimately paid off. I mean, you got to recruit the kid and his family and his coaches and all of that, which they did very well. Kevin Nickelberry did an unbelievable job recruiting Efton Reed and his family. Efton's originally from Richmond, where Kevin Nickelberry spent a lot of time coaching up there at Hampton. So he had some ties to the area. It was just a terrific job by the entire staff when you recruit a player like this, but I know Kevin Nickelberry played a huge, huge role. So in that respect, they did their job. They got Efton Reed, who's a huge position of need. It wasn't surprising if you've kind of read some of the tea leaves in terms of the quiet confidence, which has, been, I guess, quietly kept for the most part. But there's been hints here and there over the last month and a half that LSU kind of felt like they were in it, had done very, very well recruiting him. And it was just a matter of, can you beat out Florida State, who's done a really good job recruiting players out of IMG Academy? Can you beat out North Carolina, which is closer to home? There was just, it just seemed like it felt like for a moment on Friday, as the hours ticked away, that this was going to be a Musa Cisse and Fale Dante all over again, 5-star big men that went elsewhere after being, favored to go to LSU. But this one, Will Wade, Kevin Nickelberry, the staff, just did a great job recruiting. And when it finally came on Sunday, I was surprised that the tweet finally came through, but when it did come through, I wasn't surprised that it was LSU, I guess.
Okay. Did having Brandon Murray as IMG teammate already in this class influence this decision at all?
I think it can't hurt. I think with Efton Reed, though, I mean, he's a lottery pick type of player potentially if he can put everything together that he's got in his game. A likely one and done player, and so if you're Efton Reed, I don't necessarily know if you weigh that so much just because you're probably going to have a really good shot to just be one and done and move on. But Brandon Murray and him played together for a little bit in this post-grad IMG team. So they spent, just under a year together, I would say. So again, it can't hurt. But LSU just had an extra, person in his at least close vicinity to kind of at least, give him a nudge and say, hey man, come on, the coaching staff is good. Things are looking up, whatever. Let's go lead this team to an SEC title. And there's certainly contenders to do just that now.
Billy Embody's with us. Go 247 on Twitter at Billy Embody. Efton Reed signs with LSU. It's not just a commitment. I mean, the paperwork's in. It is official. I want to talk about how he influences the roster and sort of the roster as well as we move ahead. But you did reference sort of like when LSU staff is on the recruiting trail. Like, obviously, Billy, none of us lives in a vacuum. But it's like they're going to have to deal with negative recruiting because of all of the speculation about NCAA stuff and everything. How does this staff, to the best you know, deal with that when they're out on the road?
Well, honestly, they bat down the hatches and they don't say much. I can tell you that much. You really got to look more nationally or talk to the players out there, whether it be recruits or transfers have been obviously huge this offseason with Will Wade hitting the transfer portal hard. And so for the most part, we've kind of relied on the players to tell us, who's interested, who's really recruiting them hard. And then from there, everybody kind of talks, and eventually certain things get out. Watch for this team or watch for that team. That kind of goes, in a way for a lot of different recruitments, but especially for LSU, they kind of lurked in the shadows, so to speak, with Efton Reed. They offered him a year ago, and just recruited him heavily, ever since. And it's hard to do because college basketball is one of those sports where coaches, scouts, recruiters, AAU coaches, wherever they are, they kind of got a lot of time on their hands in a way. It's not football. You've got practice, you've got games, and just this and that. And it just seems like there's constant recruiting calls because there are more players you're recruiting, and there's just not as much time in a way to kind of shoot the breeze about how you're feeling about a recruit or whatnot. But basketball coaches, they've got a lot of time, so it's been a concerted effort, really, for Will Wade and the staff to make sure that when they're recruiting someone that they really try their best to not tell people, whether it be media, whether it be boosters, whatever. They've got to keep their best interests at heart, which is winning and getting really, really good basketball players so they can do that.
So it seems like they got one here with Efton Reed. So he fills a need. What is the realistic year one expectation for Reed on campus?
All SEC freshman team. He's that good. He's going to get with Greg Golden here in a couple weeks and get his body into really good shape. Naz Reed a couple years back was even bigger than him in terms of, I think, just kind of his body composition. He was a little thicker and hadn't been in a weight room and a nutrition program as well as he probably should have. But Efton Reed, spent the last year at IMG Academy, so he's a little bit more ahead in that respect. And the expectations are that he'll come in, start right away, be somebody that they can go to in the offense and get him in the low post. And he can also I don't know if he can step out and hit the three and things like that, but he's comfortable out on the perimeter defensively. He's got the size to be a good shot blocker. He just seems like a really good all-around prospect that should be an all-SEC freshman type of player at the very least. The expectations should be high for this one. And not as high as like a Cam Thomas, who was so dominant on the EYBL for 2 years, leading it in scoring, one of the best scorers really, honestly, in the last decade to come out of high school basketball. But Efton Reed's a really, really, really good prospect who should make a huge impact next year.
Billy, when you look at this roster now, you add Reed, and then you've got all the transfers who we've talked about, of course, with Miller and Eason and Pinson. Seneca Knight is there as well, obviously. What are we talking about with respect to this roster? Certainly top half of the SEC. How good are they SEC, nationally? Where does this roster rank?
Yeah, I've seen them creeping into some top 25s. I've seen them still just on the outside. And I think part of that, too, is you add Adam Miller, you add Xavier Pinson, you have Eric Gaines, and those are kind of your primary ball handlers right off the bat. And Pinson's played a ton in the SEC, but he's also been a little up and down. Miller's really good. Started every game as a true freshman for Illinois. And I think when you look at those three, this team, if those guys put it together, really has a chance to make a run at the SEC. Because if you look at the 3, the 4, the 5, they're really, really good. I mean, they have some talent. Seneca Knight is somebody people are really high on that could play the 3. Alex Fudge, if he can stay healthy, get in the weight room, get more size, he led the team in blocks. It seems like in practice, at least since he stepped on campus. Tari Easton was a really good shot blocker and defensive player. Lonnie Wilkinson could take a step forward. And you add Jarrell Colbert and Reed. I mean, it just seems like this roster is very different in a way than some of the rosters that Will Wade's put together. It seems like it's much more defensively balanced than some in the past, but they've certainly got to put all that together. It's a walk. You got to be able to walk the walk, not only just talk the talk. So I think they've got a chance to win the SEC as much as anyone.
One spot left, if my numbers are right.
Will Wade said this morning that the roster's complete as of now. They have 13 on scholarship, or at least accounted for right now. They've got Xavier Pinson and Eric Gaines and Adam Miller. Then they've got Seneca Knight, Brandon Murray. That's 5 right there. And then you've got Josh LeBlanc and then Alex Fudge, kind of that 3-4. That's 6-7. And then Sharif O'Neal, Tari Easton, Milani Wilkinson is 10. Jarrell Colbert, Efton Reed, and then Bradley Azuero is another signee that's set to hit campus. So they've got 13 right now. Will Wade said that they could make room for one more. And that could be Darius Days if he decides to come back.
Yeah.
So I don't want to speculate on who could move on. I don't think that's fair, but
sure.
Darius Days comes back, I would imagine he's got a spot.
Is that a realistic possibility?
I do. I think he's somebody that it has to weigh the option of, okay, do I come back for one more year of college and I'm just that much older? Can I take my game to another level? Can I be more consistent? Or do I just go off and try to get into the G League and make waves there? Or I think he'd be a terrific long-term player in the Euro League, to be honest. Just his game, I think it fits over there. But again, it's kind of been about consistency for him. So he's got a few more weeks of feedback from the NBA, and we'll certainly be monitoring him. I think it's realistic. It's just a matter of he's got to weigh that decision. It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Billy Embody, go 24/7. Read his stuff. Follow him on Twitter at Billy Embody. Always appreciate it, man. Thanks for a few minutes.
Anytime, Matt. Have a good one.
Do the same, man. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com. I was over at the Williamson Eye Center on Friday. Got to hang out for a bit with Dr. Blake Williamson while he was in surgery. So I actually got to watch a LASIK procedure, which was pretty cool. But, man, the coolest thing is I'm almost 3 years removed from LASIK, and I'm still seeing 20/15. When Dr. Blake saw me 3 years ago, my prescription was a -525. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. I mean, I had to have my hand almost touching my nose to be able to see any definition in my hand. That's how nearsighted I was. It is life-changing to be able to see. Give yourself that gift. WilliamsonEYE.com. Go over that free consultation. WilliamsonEYE.com. Remember, they're a full-service optical shop. So, you want to get your annual eye exam, you need to buy glasses or contacts. If you wear contacts or glasses, you could certainly do that. They're a state-of-the-art facility right there on the Baton Rouge General Campus, right off of Bacardi. It is the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com, 924-2020. All right, we'll go around the SEC coming up here in a bit. Big national news that Jacksonville is planning to sign Tim Tebow, so prepare for the Tebow circus. I actually don't hate the decision. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. And Scott Kushner will join us 45 minutes, talk some Pels. The Pels did get a win last night, much to my chagrin. But David Griffin also got fined after going off on NBA officials, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Will Wade's going to be with us tomorrow at this time, and I'm excited to chat with him about putting together this roster and what the expectations are moving forward. But it was an interesting answer from Billy there about recruiting a kid like Efton Reed. And basically, essentially what he says, look, LSU staff just kind of has to keep what they're doing in recruiting quiet so that other programs don't know what they're doing, where they're going to be, who they're targeting, so they can't be negative recruited. And in spite of all of that noise, they continue to reel in major prospects, and Efton Reed's another top 10. So I know skeptics are out there, and I think you're right to be skeptical. But I would say to the counter argument, with all of the attention on this program, would you really be so brash as to be running afoul with all of this attention on you? I mean, again, I'm not saying nothing improper has ever happened. I've never said that. I've been consistent from day one. You've got to give this dude and his staff a tremendous amount of credit because they recruit their ass off. They work hard, and ever since Will Wade stepped foot on campus, they have reeled in big fish like Efton Reed, who's just the next. And they've made this a destination. The mission, the goal, the objective that they're selling is come create your own legacy here. And they have been able to convince a lot of guys to bite. And Efton Reed's the latest. Exciting news, man. All right, it's after further review. We will go around the SEC. Also, speaking of recruiting, what's the latest with Arch Manning? Cooper Manning, his dad, gave an interview to Steve Wiltfong at 24/7 Sports. And it's pretty interesting. So talk about that a bit too. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Triple-digit temps just about upon us. You know that's almost here. Boy, it was hot yesterday. Call River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001. Preseason AC tune-up. They'll get you taken care of. Always love sharing great testimonials. Jeff Bruno, one of their customers, left this review. Dustin, his technician, was excellent. He was friendly and polite, found the problem, fixed it within an hour. I'm so pleased with the quick response from your company. Top-notch, 5 stars. But there's others. Niall Bolin sent this one. Said, Russell M. was very professional, showed me why we needed a new switch, which was discovered while he was here, and he had all the parts on his truck to fix the problem right then and there. I'm very happy with how quick and quality the work was. Thank you, Russell. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Time and again, you hear and you read reviews like that. That's why I encourage you, go read the reviews. See what your friends and neighbors are saying about River City's 1 Hour Air, and you'll make the confident decision that I do every time with River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Kushner.
No matter what type of exercise you like to do, let Spectrum Fitness be a part of your exercise routine. Our low monthly rates and variety of choices will keep you moving toward your fitness goals. Come by and check it.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here. Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, reliefwindows.com. I got a question. Not rhetorical. I really kind of want your feedback, because this is we're getting into the point where in June the recruiting dead period is going to be lifted. The dead period, which has been in place since COVID. For more than a year now, coaches have not been able to host recruits on campus or visit recruits in home. Everything's basically being done via Zoom. Well, the guy who's going to be the most heavily recruited quarterback in the history of Louisiana football is Arch Manning. And he is a rising junior at Newman, and obviously out of New Orleans. And his dad, Cooper, gave an interview to Steve Wiltfong, who's the national recruiting director at 247 Sports. And essentially, Cooper walked through places they're going to visit. Basically, they've got recruiting visits lined up in June. He said they're going to visit Clemson, SMU, Texas, Alabama, and Georgia. Those are going to be his visits during the month of June. Cooper also said that Arch has been talking to Stanford. He's interested in going out to the West Coast, seeing Stanford and USC, and then swinging up to the Midwest and seeing Notre Dame and Ohio State. Basically, wherever this kid wants to go, he's going to be able to go. And the 247 composite is the third overall player, the #1 quarterback, and as we've talked about, highest rated quarterback prospect Louisiana's ever produced. Turns out Tennessee and Duke are a couple of other programs that are interested. Obviously, Peyton went to Tennessee. David Cutcliffe, who coached both Peyton and Eli, is the coach at Duke. And his sister is a student at University of Virginia. So UVA in Charlottesville is another place that Arch wants to see. North Carolina, too, FYI. No real mention of LSU or Ole Miss. Now, you could either look at that as, man, is he really not interested in LSU and Ole Miss? Or the fact that he's already been to both campuses. And there's probably not a ton that he needs to see with respect to those two places, because he's been there a ton. But, and y'all know, I'm not the recruiting guru. Like, I will readily tell you where I feel like I'm very much in the know and where I am not, and recruiting is not something that I know. That's why I lean on guys like Billy Embody and Shea and all these guys who do such an awesome job with that side of things. But everyone I talk to with respect to Arch Manning seem to think he ain't going to LSU or Ole Miss, at least as of now, that Clemson is likely the favorite. Don't be surprised if he lands at Virginia where his sister goes. That's the kind of conversation around Arch Manning. I guess my question, and this is where I was saying I want your feedback, because I really genuinely am curious how this next year and a half plus is going to play out with Arch Manning. if you're an LSU fan, what's your expectation for Arch Manning? Like, are you expecting him to be a Tiger, hopeful that he'll be a Tiger, or don't think that there's really a chance? Maybe that could be a poll question, Musso. Like, that's not a bad idea. I'm genuinely curious where people stand. I would love to see Arch Manning end up at LSU. It's just the people that I trust that I talk to recruiting don't really ever talk about LSU as like a preferred destination for him. So now that's okay. I mean, LSU's already recruiting exceptionally well at that position. You've got Max Johnson on campus. We know that. You just signed Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, what is also ahead, even in 22, you got Walker Howard for 2022 as a 5-star. And then in 2023, I mean, even if it's not Arch Manning, there's Eli Holstein. I mean, there's just so much. So we've talked about this now for more than a year. The pipeline of quarterback in the state and at LSU is as plentiful as it's ever been. So, of course, you'd love to have him. I don't know how realistic that feels. I'm just curious if he doesn't pick LSU or what the feeling is now for most LSU fans. So let me know. Hit me up. You can tweet me at Matt Moscona, at 1045 ESPN.
Hey, Twitter world.
You can jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat. Or you can text me, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. That's, of course, in the 225. All right, we will go around the SEC in just a second. Remind you about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Online at theantiagingclinics.com. Remember, hormone replacement therapy, a simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. You want to feel like your younger self? It's the way to do it. Also, Ideal Protein Diet. I lost more than 20 pounds in 7 weeks on Ideal Protein, and I'm keeping it off. The management after you lose the weight is the key, and they're awesome at walking you through that. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette are online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Tennessee Volunteers.
Former Kansas defensive tackle Dejon Terry has committed to Tennessee. 6'4", 320. He entered the transfer portal following the hiring news at Kansas of Lance Leopold. He'll be a redshirt sophomore in 2021 with 4 seasons of eligibility remaining because of the extra season granted due to COVID. He's expected to be immediately eligible at Tennessee. He's a 3-star prospect coming out of high school, the number 124 defensive tackle in the country.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Little Rock 4-star offensive lineman Emarion Harris has committed to Arkansas. 10th commitment for the class of 2022. 6'7", 370. Let me remind you that Emarion Harris is presently a high school junior, and he is 6'7", 370. He chose Arkansas over Oklahoma, Missouri, and Florida. Number 277 overall in the nation, 34th best offensive tackle, 7th in-state commit for the class of 2022.
The Florida Gators.
And Florida picked up a 2022 commitment as well from wide receiver Isaiah Bond out of Georgia. 6 foot, 175-pounder. He's a 3-star recruit. He had finalists including Alabama, Georgia, Miami, and Texas, the 6th verbal commit for the Gators 2022 class. He also plays defensive back. And there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends Gulf Coast Office Products online, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products, face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get from Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 1 when we come back. Yes, it is actually happening. Tim Tebow is returning to the NFL, and I don't actually hate it. Talk about that a little bit when we come back. Also, early impact rookies, and is there a leak within the Saints organization? Because Terrace Marshall should be a Saint, if you believe this report. That's coming up in 15 minutes. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
So, Sunday was Mother's Day. How did you spend it? Were you sitting outside sweating because it was so hot? Just dreaming about having a beautiful pool, an outdoor area to enjoy? Pinnacle Exterior Construction can make that happen. It's worth mentioning that Pinnacle offers financing. So if you want to build that custom pool, that outdoor kitchen, and you've got some tax refund money coming through or stimulus checks, and you want to invest it into your home, but you don't want to spend it all at once. Finance with Pinnacle. Pinnacle Exterior Construction. They can build you that custom pool. They can take your boring backyard, make it a show place. That dream of making your outdoor space an oasis can be a reality. Check out pictures of their beautiful work. Meet with Shane Danton and their landscape architecture crew. They'll give you a full rendering of what your backyard space can look like. Pinnacle Exterior Construction. PECbuilt.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We're getting ready to splash you right into summer with our $1,500 Summer Splash giveaway brought to you by Citizens Bank and Trust. Head to 1045ESPN.com right now to sign up for the $1,500 Summer Splash giveaway from 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust.
Can I win?
Probably not. We can never win these things.
Damn it. Well, I don't care who wins it. Oh, you got the poll up there, Muso?
Yeah, also turn my mic off. So, do you have the poll up, Matt?
You gotta push the button, bro. Noob.
Professional radio guy.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, what's the poll question?
Poll question today. As an LSU fan, what is your feeling on Arch Manning? We gave you 4 choices. He's coming to LSU. hope he comes to LSU. No chance he comes to LSU anywhere but Alabama.
What's winning?
Trying to refresh the page here. Hold on.
If the texts coming into the show are any indication, it's probably answer D.
Well, early results, it's answer C. No chance he comes to LSU, but anywhere but Alabama, second place.
Okay. David Benoit said, there's not a snowball chance in hell Arch goes to LSU. Chad Rizzuto, it would be great if Manning came, but I'm a big Walker Howard fan. I think we'll be just fine. That's going to be a prevailing sentiment as well. If you nail, even, you don't have to hit on every quarterback every year. You just got to hit on one of them. If Max Johnson becomes a 3-year starter, sweet. If Walker Howard becomes a 3-year starter, you're good. Steve and Jenny, as long as Arch doesn't end up at Bama, I'm okay with him going wherever. Zero confidence he ends up at LSU. That's a prevailing thought. Austin Daigle, I'm okay with him. I'm okay with not getting him as long as he doesn't go to Alabama. Is it really that? I mean, is it really that cut and dried for people?
Can you imagine the melt, though? Yeah, I think it is. I mean, would you say highest rated quarterback in Louisiana history? You let that guy out and he goes to Alabama?
I guess
it's not gonna go over well.
My feeling on recruiting is just always different. I mean, with regards to a class, obviously you've got to meet certain needs. You've got to manage your roster and fill certain needs, and that's of course on the coach and the recruiting staff to coordinate all those efforts. But with respect to like one individual player, all you can do. I say this every year in National Signing Day. All you can do is make your best pitch. You cannot chain someone and like bring them to your campus. Like, all you can do is make your pitch. Tell them why it's great. Show them the academic center. Bring them to your facilities. Show them all the NFL guys. How much money that your NFL draft picks have made. Like, let them put on the jersey and walk in the stadium. And like all you can do is put your best foot forward. And not everybody's going to pick you, and that's okay, because there's literally if you actually put forth the best pitch you possibly can, and they say no, there's nothing more you could do. So I don't get pissed if an 18-year-old chooses to go somewhere else. Like, to each their own, do you, but make sure you address needs. And that's just the onus on this and every staff, is make sure you manage your roster and address every need. So, I mean, I wanted to kind of get an early feel. We're still, almost 2 years away from that with Arch, but it was relevant today. If you're just joining us, why you're talking about that, there's a piece up at 24/7 Sports today from Steve Wiltfong, where Cooper Manning, Arch's dad, did an interview with Steve Wiltfong and started talking about Arch's recruitment. That's been pretty low key, but now with the dead period being lifted, they're going to start taking visits in June, and it's places like Clemson and SMU and Alabama and Georgia, and I'm just curious where. He mentioned a lot of schools. He didn't mention LSU or Ole Miss, but those are probably the two he's most familiar with. So anyway, everyone's familiar, of course, with Tim Tebow. This news earlier today, of course, Peter King on MMQB reported that it was likely that the Jaguars and Urban Meyer were going to sign Tim Tebow. Now Ian Rappaport of NFL Media tweeting at Jags planning to sign QB turned tight end Tim Tebow to a 1-year deal. Could be official in the next week or so. Nothing done yet, but he'll have a chance to make the team to reunite with his mentor and college head coach, Urban Meyer. That's from Ian Rappaport a couple of hours ago. I don't hate this at all. Because I don't see the downside. For me, something like this is all about weighing risk and reward. If you were bringing in Tim Tebow to be your backup quarterback, massive risk, minimal reward makes no sense whatsoever. We have seen coaches who leave the college ranks, go to the pro ranks, reunite with their former players. Steve Spurrier's Washington Redskins teams basically became a Florida all-star team and weren't very good when you got Shane Matthews and Danny Warfel. Look, I love Chris Doering, but he was phenomenal in college, but we understand, it didn't work out great in the NFL in that offense. Whatever. Tim Tebow knows Urban Meyer's system. Even at 33 years old, he's still a physical freak. It's undeniable. He's a winner and a great locker room guy. As much as you may hate the guy, that part of him is undeniable. The guy he's super competitive. He wants to win. He's on a 1-year minimum deal, cost you next to nothing to have him, and he's going to bring attention to the organization. Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, and Tim Tebow are going to make this one of the most talked about teams in the NFL, whereas Jacksonville has been forgettable for most of its existence, and even more, if it's possible, you're going to take attention away from the number 1 overall pick and bring the pressure off of Trevor Lawrence a little bit because more people are going to be talking about the backup tight end. I mean, most of the media circus around Tebow was when he was trying to win a quarterback job. Now he's at least humbled himself. There's a lot of guys who have switched from quarterback and had successful NFL careers. Hines Ward, Matt Jones, Brad Smith, Antoine Randall, Ronald Curry. Can Tebow be a personal protector with his hair on fire, blocking people as an H-back, catching passes and running dudes over? Why not? I'll watch. Good luck to him, man. All right, time for further review. Hour number 2 coming up next. AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. That's GMFS Mortgage. But what we have absolutely been hammering for months on end now is refinancing your mortgage. Because GMFS Mortgage, which, by the way, last week celebrated 22 years in business, because GMFS Mortgage has been helping homeowners amid the pandemic realize financial security. What if you could lower your monthly mortgage payment? What if you could skip a payment or two? What if you could shorten the life of your mortgage? What if you could be done paying off your mortgage 5, 10, 15 years sooner? Change your life financially. That's what GMFS Mortgage has been doing for 22 years, changing lives. They've done it for me. They've done it for many of you and tens of thousands of Louisiana homeowners. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Camry for $299 per month. That's $299 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
"50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting?
Speeding or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Callahan Injury Lawyer.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports LeBron James will likely play tomorrow night when the Lakers meet the Knicks. James has been out for most of the last 2 months with right ankle issues. Wizards guard Bradley Beal will miss at least the next 2 games tonight and Wednesday night against the Hawks with a left hamstring strain. Washington right now is 9th in the East. The Mets will put right-hander Jacob deGrom on the injured list with tightness in his right side. An MRI shows no serious issues. ESPN New York's Chris Canty.
The guy is on pace to get his 3rd Cy Young in 4 seasons. Like, it's just unbelievable how dominant he's been on the mound.
Chris Canty on Key J and Z. Baseball on ESPN tonight at 8 Eastern. The Angels and Astros in Houston. Tim Tebow won 2 national titles and a Heisman Trophy at Florida with Coach Urban Meyer. He also played in the NFL and minor league baseball. He's never played tight end until now. It's expected the Jaguars will sign Tebow to a 1-year deal.
What? Just 15 seconds to talk about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea? That smooth taste of real brewed iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol? What? We started already? Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for it in the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Scott Kushner of the New Orleans Advocate, about 15 minutes talking some Pels. Got a win last night, second of a back-to-back tonight for the Pellies. And David Griffin fined $50,000, but money well spent. He went off last week about the NBA not protecting Zion, led to Zion's injury. He claims went off on officiating, and maybe that's the thing that you got to do to get this league's attention and have the league's officials start treating Zion like he deserves to be treated as a superstar player and not as some type of outlier just because he's a physical force, unlike the NBA has seen since Shaquille O'Neal. So hopefully it worked. But no Zion again tonight as the Pels will be on the road again in the midst of a 5-game swing before they wrap up the regular season at home against the Lakers. A game and a half out of the 10 spot. They just won't go away. A game and a half behind San Antonio now for the 10 spot. So we'll preview that game with Scott Kushner coming up here shortly. So apparently, the New Orleans Saints were 1 spot away from drafting an LSU player. Shocking, right? That is an oft-discussed topic here about whether or not the Saints shun LSU guys. My feeling on it is you don't shun an entire program, especially one that's produced as much talent as LSU has. It's just rare that there's a player on the board at a position of need when you select. And I know everyone brings up Patrick Queen from last year. The Saints also needed an offensive lineman. They took Cesar Ruiz because they were cutting Larry Warford as a cap-saving move, and they needed a starter on the interior. So say whatever you want. I mean, the numbers bear this out. The Falcons don't draft Georgia guys at great numbers. The Dolphins don't draft Miami Hurricane guys at great numbers. The Packers don't draft Wisconsin guys. I mean, it's across the NFL, nonetheless. The Saints apparently were going to draft Terrace Marshall. Darren Gant is a writer at Panthers.com, covers the team for the team's website. And in a recent write-up post-draft, he wrote, BYU left tackle Brady Christensen was probably going to be the guy at 59. And there was a deal cooking that could have moved them back on the clock within a few spots to take LSU wide receiver Terrace Marshall Jr. Marshall was quickly becoming one of those guys whose name was beginning to stick out on the board with not much space above him, but a lot of space below at his position. He was becoming a value guy. Then someone got a call that the Saints were about to take Marshall 60th overall. The Panthers shifted gears, taking Marshall in the 59th spot instead. Saints stood pat at number 60, took the best player on their board, which, of course, was Pete Werner, the linebacker out of Ohio State. And we've seen this in recent years, where teams have traded up ahead of New Orleans to take players that the Saints coveted. It happened in 2017 with Patrick Mahomes. Of course, the Saints were going to take Mahomes. Kansas City traded up to 10, one spot ahead of New Orleans, and selected the quarterback. The Saints were prepared to take Kenneth Murray a few years ago, the linebacker out of Oklahoma, before he was snatched up one pick prior. I'll remind you also in 2017, the Saints were going to select Reuben Foster. Remember that? The Saints were going to take Reuben Foster with the last pick of round 1. Foster, as the story goes, was on the phone with the Saints. And then John Lynch of the 49ers calls him and says, hey, we're going to pick you. He says, no, yeah, I'm on the phone. You don't pick till 34. I'm on the phone right now with the Saints. Lo and behold, the Niners traded up to 31 and took Reuben Foster. So I guess there's a couple of ways you can look at this. There's this recurring situation, then there's what happened with the player, specifically with Terrace Marshall. I would have loved to have seen Terrace Marshall in New Orleans. But I also think, as we've talked about so much with respect to the Saints, I have seen Sean Payton over the years do remarkable work without a top-tier guy at receiver based on the assets you gave up to get him. Michael Thomas was a second-round pick, y'all. The first-round picks you used on receivers were Robert Meacham and Brandon Cooks. You've done better with guys like Marcus Colston and Lance Moore and certainly Michael Thomas in round 2, even Kenny Stills, who was a fifth-round guy. I mean, the Saints have found great value at receiver and in pass catchers as a whole. When you've got $100 million invested in a Michael Thomas, when you've got the money you do invested in Alvin Kamara as a pass catcher, you have options there. So I would have loved to have seen Terrace Marshall in New Orleans, but I think the offense is going to work just fine. I hate the fact that Marshall is reunited with Joe Brady, and now when you look at that Kansas City offense and the receivers in it, when you're talking about DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and now Terrace Marshall as a 3, and you've got Christian McCaffrey in that offense with Sam Darnold and Joe Brady calling plays, now all of a sudden it feels like Carolina is a team very much on the come. It's also worth noting that the BYU left tackle Brady Christensen, the Panthers traded back in and took him at 70, 10 picks later. So they had both guys. But specifically with being aggressive, I'll say it this way. I mentioned Reuben Foster. The Niners traded ahead of the Saints to take Reuben Foster at 31. Foster played 2 seasons. He had a drug arrest. He had domestic violence allegations. And he had a series of injuries. He's out of the league. Do you remember who the Saints took with the 32nd pick? It was Ryan Ramczyk. That one's worked out okay for New Orleans. And maybe Pete Werner's going to work out okay for New Orleans. Just like when Kansas City took Patrick Mahomes and the Saints took Marshawn Lattimore, that one worked out for New Orleans. A lot of times we focus on who you didn't get. It's pretty natural. But if you hit on the pick, you forget about who you didn't draft. The reason people bring up Alex Molden so much is because they passed on Eddie George to take Alex Molden, who had a long NFL career. Wasn't great with the Saints, but he was a high first-round draft pick, and they passed on a guy who became a Hall of Famer. So it's going to stand out more. There is a benefit to being aggressive in the draft, no doubt. But there's also times where if you just hit on the prospects you take, we forget about all the ancillary stuff. Now, specifically with regards to Terrace Marshall, there's a piece up at ESPN.com right now that Matt Bowen did. Matt Bowen played 7 years of NFL football. He now is a writer for ESPN+. He went and analyzed the 10 rookies who he said landed with the perfect team in this year's NFL draft. And 2 of the 10 are the 2 LSU receivers who went in the first 2 rounds. He's got both Jamar Chase with the Bengals and, of course, Terrace Marshall with the Panthers being among 10 rookies who landed with the perfect team. That's not just first-round picks. That's literally of all draft picks. When he rates the 10 who landed with the best teams, I mean, he's got Trey Lance in San Francisco on that list. And he's got, as we mentioned, Jamar Chase with the Cincinnati Bengals, 5th overall. And it makes a lot of sense. A.J. Green, no longer in Cincy. Jamar Chase could be the most targeted pass catcher as a rookie. It would not surprise me at all. I mean, obviously, with this many rookie quarterbacks, and quarterbacks tend to get more credit for Rookie of the Year, more look for Rookie of the Year, that's likely going to be one of those guys. But if it's not, the one who it could be, same way that Justin Jefferson just had a massive season in Minnesota, I could see the very same thing for Jamar Chase in Cincinnati because of the targets. And then Terrace Marshall, of course, 59 overall. When you talk about a guy who could be the number 3 in that system with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson and Christian McCaffrey, if he's the 4th option that defenses are keying on, in the slot or over the top. I mean, you think about the way that Joe Brady, when he was in New Orleans, watched Sean Payton use Michael Thomas, a bigger receiver who can play in the slot, but Marshall with game-breaking speed to beat you over the top. He'll jab you over the middle, and then here comes the haymaker when you least expect it. Makes a lot of sense. All right, it's after further review. Pelly's got a win last night. They're back on the floor again tonight, second of a back-to-back. We'll talk about it with Scott Kushner, who covers the Pels for the New Orleans Advocate. Stay with us here. It is AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, expanding healthcare in the Baton Rouge area. Again, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. You can find locations with their Bluebonnet campus, the Mid-City location, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, or any of their Express Care locations. Of course, this month at the Baton Rouge General Hospital, they're focusing on women. The month of Mother's Day, and how they provide so many services for expecting moms, or, of course, female services, or if you need to find a doctor, it's all there for you at brgeneral.org. Baton Rouge General Hospital is part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, as we often tell you. One of the foremost medical centers in the world, the Mayo Clinic offers exclusivity in markets to offer clinical collaboration to their experts in the Mayo Clinic at no extra cost to you. brgeneral.org to learn more for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Expanding healthcare in Baton Rouge. brgeneral.org.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen, and they have 6 convenient locations, one close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center. Get in and get better.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad you're rolling along. Pels, a winner last night. They're back on the floor tonight. Scott Kushner of The Advocate, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. Got the first-place team in the SEC, real baseball school I attended, so we're in good shape over here.
Scott is a proud Tennessee Volunteer, and when you have nothing else to hang your hat on, you brag about being atop the league standings with 2 weekends to play. But really good team. I mean, your guy up there is doing fantastic work. I can't wait to see where he goes next to land at a real baseball school.
Yeah, he'll be in Baton Rouge, isn't he? There's no doubt in my mind.
But Vattel will be moving on. So is it the audition for a leap? But hey, it's the first time in a long time that Tennessee's actually produced a coach that someone wanted, right?
Yeah, I think it's the first time since I've been there, which is 20-something years now. So yeah, it's I guess it's the Tulane honor, right? It's like, is your coach good enough to lead? That would be
yes. Do we count Lane Kiffin?
I suppose, yeah.
Okay.
That would be Bruce Pearl and Lane Kiffin. And that's about it, right?
Yeah, and Bruce's departure was a little less ceremonious, I guess we could say.
Yeah, that was a little different story.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about the Pelicans. They just won't stop trying, and I wish they would, but they win last night. So, big takeaway from the win last night in Charlotte?
This team cares. I mean, I give them credit for continuing to give a crap.
How dare they?
It'd be really easy for them not to. Quite honestly, they didn't for long stretches of the season months ago. So it's very odd that they've now decided that every game requires a level of urgency and whatever. But I think seeing Jackson Hayes develop, seeing Nikhil Alexander-Walker get back on the floor last night. These are all developments that I think, are merit of some sort of attention and positive attention in a season that has been, I would say is dispiriting from an overall team perspective. But the individual development has, you can point to a lot of things right now and look at positives.
So they are back on the floor tonight. We're not really expecting them to win again, are we? Like for the rest of the season, I mean. But they got 4 games to go. Every team that's remaining is in the playoffs.
Sure. Now, I guess it depends on, if the Lakers' position at the end of the year is totally solidified. Maybe they'll take some time to rest guys, especially if they're in that play-in tournament. They'll have to play pretty soon thereafter. If they can't move up or down, then, maybe they rest everybody. So that's a possibility. I mean, I can see them winning tonight. The whole thing is like, I don't know what they almost beat the first place team in the East on Friday night, and they had nobody. I mean, the Pelicans had nobody. It took the last minute for them to get knocked off on the road, where they've been terrible all season on the road, and they played great and hung right in against Philly. And in a lot of ways, they probably should have won that game. It's very hard to say. And San Antonio has been awful. So the fact that it's like a 2-game spread, it's 1.5, but it's really 2 because they don't own the tiebreaker.
Right.
Anything's really possible. I mean, we've seen some goofy stuff happen in the NBA, but yeah, they don't have any business winning these games. Can they do it though? Sure. I mean, they proved that last night.
Lay out a scenario where they get the 10 seed.
Like, how can it happen? I mean, San Antonio's terrible. I mean, they're really, really bad right now. San Antonio, I think, has lost 3 of their last. I think they've only won 3 of their last 9, something like that. They're not very good, and they don't play a particularly easy schedule either. And all they have to do is, if the Pelicans basically just win out, and San Antonio, I think, goes 2-2, they will. I think they take it. So they really just need to beat San Antonio by a game. Golden State has surpassed them. I think that's over with and done. But San Antonio is kind of right there for the taking, and they're playing really badly. So it is. I wouldn't say it's likely by any stretch of the imagination. That is very. I don't want to put it that way, but it's not dead yet. And the fact that there's 4 games left of the season is not dead is a big, improvement from when we thought this season was dead 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So they have made it at least somewhat, interesting down the stretch.
So Zion, they said, is out indefinitely. We're not realistically expecting him back for any of these 4 games, are we?
No. I don't think they go on in that level of dramatic press conference. And I mean, I almost expected special effects and, sound equipment to be ushered in for that press conference. The level of choreography that took place there. I don't think you do that if the guy's going to miss 3 games. I think he's clearly out for the rest of the season. The question is whether Brandon Ingram can get back, and they ruled him out, pretty early today, which makes me think he's not all that close to coming back either. So I think they're going to have to play it kind of with this squad unless they got to the last game, and then maybe they, BI could get pushed up timeline-wise. But, yeah, other than that, I really don't expect either of those guys to play. So
no Zion, no BI. I mean, do you read that organizationally as they're trying to lose these last 4?
I wouldn't say trying to lose. I think they
trying not to win.
I would say they're not prioritizing. They're not going to push Steven Adams. Steven Adams has played through injury most of this, second half of the season. He's played through injuries, and he hasn't been very good on them. And they keep rolling him out there, and he keeps wanting to play. And I think they've just finally got to the point where it's there's no point in doing this. Let's not even pretend, And so they've sat him for a pretty prolonged period here. So those kinds of organizational decisions, I think, have started to crop up in the last couple of weeks. But the thing really isn't over yet. I think they thought that the thing was over against San Antonio, and then they thought it when they lost San Antonio, and then when they lost to Golden State about a week ago, I think they thought it again. And now, it's still not over against San Antonio. It just will not put them away.
Scott Kushner's with us. He's on Twitter at Scott D. Kushner. All right, I got to ask you about Griff's press conference last week. And I know you tweeted a lot about it, as did many. So let's take it in a few different pieces. So you're watching it unfold. For those that don't know, David Griffin's been fined $50,000 by the NBA for criticizing the officials and how they've handled Zion all year. So you're watching that unfold. Your reaction as you're watching it unfold is what?
At first, I was like, wow, this is pretty bold. He's, he very, I don't know if you knew this, Matt. They presented that press conference to us as being we have signed Najee Marshall and Didi Louzada, and so they're holding a press conference to talk about that. And I think he mentioned their names. Yeah, so that's like we literally got in the press conference call. Like that was now I had talked to people around. It was like you're going to want to be on this call. This is more than that. I was like, okay, because I was literally going to skip it. I was like, who cares? I don't care what you have to say about Dodgy Marshall. Like,
or
I'm playing golf. Like, yeah. But yeah. And so anyway, he kind of took that opportunity and instead was like, all right, organizationally we're gonna take a stand here for Zion. I understood the purpose of it, which is let's show some support to this guy. He's had a tough year when it comes to not winning. I think he's a little bit frustrated by it. Let's at least show the level of support that we can show him in the moment that's there. And I think Griff went a little over the top, maybe a lot over the top with some of it. I don't think repeated trauma to the hand causes a broken finger. Like it's not CTE. Like I've never heard that before. Like I don't. It was very dramatic for a broken hand or broken finger,
which happened on a rebound, by the way.
Yeah, the whole thing is whatever. But it's all fine. Like I get what he was doing. He's extending the support that he has to offer and be like, look, and he's officiated badly. Like it's very difficult to officiate him. The points he was saying were correct. I thought it was very dramatic and I thought it was very choreographed. So nobody's wrong in the situation, but it's also, after about 90 seconds of it, you're like, oh, okay, I know what's going on here. And it's fine. And I think it'll change how he gets officiated? Probably not. But I do understand why Griff felt he needed to do it in the moment and took advantage of the moment that was presented to him.
All right, so why won't it change? Yeah, typically this is why umpires, this is why coaches get tossed in baseball games. This is why players in games argue to officials to influence calls. So why won't this matter?
Because I don't think Zion's going to start flopping. And he's not going to get the call until he starts flopping. And it's very sad, but it's just true. He's not going to play that way. And unless he does, and if he does, he'll have to change a lot about himself, not just like his game, but like a lot about himself. And I just have a really hard time seeing that happen. And I don't think the refs that take the court are going to be like, oh yeah, remember when David Griffin yelled at us? Like, I just don't think they care. Stan Van Gundy says it after every game. He's like, he should be shooting a lot more free throws, and he should be, but you also can't call it every single time that guy gets contacted. Like, he is putting his head down and going at the basket, and he's bigger than everyone else. Like, you can't call it every time, and it's really hard to see the contact because he goes through it so often. So Griffin was right. Like, what he said wasn't wrong. I just don't see how it's going to translate into, like, they're going to get Zion to the line 3-4 more times a game. It just seems really difficult to imagine a scenario where he's getting a lot more than he's getting now until he starts to exaggerate the contact, which is what LeBron blows through contact all the time, but then he falls down and complains and does the stuff that you kind of have to do, which is a really sad statement about the NBA, but it is, a fact.
LeBron always acting like he got hit by sniper fire in section 300.
Oh my God.
It's not real fun to watch. All
it's
right.
awful.
Well, all right, before you go, we'll do a postmortem on the season when it inevitably comes, probably sooner than later. But at this point, do you have a general feel on the team and the state of the organization with 4 games to go?
Yeah, there's a lot of urgency for next year. I think that's anybody to say anything otherwise is a little naive. And I've read that people are saying like, no, there's not that much pressure, whatever. Zion's got a long time. It's like, no, we gotta win. The guy wants to win really badly. He's really good, and he does not want to get branded a loser. And whether it's fair or not, and it's probably not fair, when you look at the history of this team and you look at what's occurred, like, he's not going to have the patience to go sit there for 7 years and not be good and not be on a good team. And that's not saying that, like, he's pushing in any direction or anything like that. I just think, like, if you look at it remotely logically and you talk to anybody around the league who also looks at it logically, not, like, sourced anything like that. I don't want to sound like I'm reporting something, but, like, you have to get good enough to at least be good. Like, they don't have to be a championship contender, but you've got a legitimate, like, all-star next to him. You've got him, and you should be able to go 500 in the NBA. Like, it's not that challenging to be a 500 team. And they couldn't get the 10 seed this year despite being healthy like 90% of the season. It was a disappointing year in that regard for certain, and you can't mask that. Now, what it means for next year is you probably have to make a pretty big swing in the offseason, and I think a pretty big swing will make a huge difference for this team if they can replicate anywhere near the type of health they had this year.
I'd be curious to see what that means whenever they do get into this summer. Scott Kushner will be following theadvocate.com. You read his stuff. He's on Twitter at Scott D. Kushner. Thanks, man. Appreciate it as always.
See you, Matt. Talk to you soon.
All right, man. Be well. Enjoy that Tony Vitello guy while you got him. It won't be long. It's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out. Anthony Ranaudo in 30 minutes. Stick around, AFR.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. That's what Insurance Network of Louisiana offers. Love sharing great testimonials. This one came from Peter, who had been with Liberty Mutual. They have 4 drivers on their auto policy. Peter, his wife, and their 2 children, 1 high school, 1 college age. They saved $4,000 annually on their coverage. It's incredible. Been hearing that a lot. If you have teenage or if your children are of driving age and they've been added to your policy and you've seen a rate increase, it is worth calling Insurance Network of Louisiana to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. 293-0450, 293-0450, or online at lainsurance.net. Don't assume that just because you have State Farm, Allstate, Liberty Mutual, that you're properly covered and paying a fair price, because chances are if you haven't shopped, you're not. Insurance Network of Louisiana, 293-0450.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
What if you could truly energize your body and mind from the most fundamental level? Your cells. Cellivate is a revolutionary health-aware approach to energy, focus, and mood enhancement, packing everything you need to optimize your mind and body from the inside out. The unique formula combines top-notch cellular energizers, nootropics, herbal extracts, and powerful antioxidants, all in one sugar-free 12-ounce can. Elevate your cells. Cellivate.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Kushner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, congrats to Trey Morgan. Today was named by the SEC office the league's freshman of the week. What a week he had, batting .529, 9 of 17. He scored 6 runs at 3 RBIs, on-base percentage .571 for the week. He has been absolutely outstanding. I was asked over the weekend if Trey Morgan is having the best freshman season of anybody ever at LSU. Look, 2 weeks ago, you would have been asking me that question about Dylan Cruz and not Trey Morgan. So, no, I don't think he's having the best freshman season of anybody ever at LSU. But for some context here, the best freshman season anybody's ever had was Todd Walker in 1992. As a freshman in 1992, Todd Walker hit 400. He was the first player in the history of the program to hit 400, and he did it as a true freshman. It's incredible. The other guy who's got his jersey retired as a position player at LSU is Eddie Furness. He hit 326 as a freshman. Alex Bregman hits 369 as a freshman when he won the Brooks Wallace Award. So Bregman at 369. Morgan right now is at 363. He's second in the SEC with 65 hits. Dylan Cruz is about 20 points behind him at 346, but still ahead of Furness's pace. So these two guys right now are not having the best season ever for a freshman at LSU, but they're in pretty rarefied air when you talk about how good they have been. And Morgan might be the biggest surprise. But listen, all throughout the offseason, we heard Trey Morgan, defense, amazing glove, got to be in the lineup because he got a great glove. Nobody would have pegged this guy to be leading the team in hitting with 2 weekends to play. This was, by the way, this was Paul Maneri in his this was the preseason media availability with Paul Maneri when he was talking about Trey Morgan. Give a listen.
Trey Morgan is a kid to really be excited about. Gosh, do I love this kid. I had no idea he was this good when we recruited him, but he's a tremendous ball player. I've coached now, this will be my 39th year. I would put him in a category of maybe 5 first basemen that I've coached in my entire lifetime as far as his defensive skill around first base. In all honesty, I'm a little bit concerned about the left side of our infield defensively. We've got some work to do there. But one of the things that gives me confidence is knowing that Trey Morgan's over at first base because the throw doesn't have to be chest high for it to be an out. He's just got great instinct over there. And oh, by the way, he's probably going to hit second or third in our order.
Or lead off. But, I mean, that was a 42-second clip where Paul Maneri spent 39 seconds talking about Trey Morgan's defense, and then, oh, by the way, he's also going to be near the top of our lineup batting. And he has been magnificent. Congrats to him. And I'll tell you, the other thing, too, is this is also why I am more confident now about this LSU team than I've been at any point this season. And that may sound strange, but at the beginning of the season, you felt like you had your rotation established, but nobody could hit, especially when you were facing Friday night SEC guys. You had this middle part of the season where your bullpen was a wreck, and you didn't know who you could count on consistently offensively, and you really struggled to find a number 3. Look at where you are right now. Your starting 9 is established. Generally speaking, your batting order is established. You feel like maybe you found something here in Mikhail Hilliard as a number 3 starter, which alleviates so much pressure on the coaching staff and how they manage the first 2 games, knowing that you've got a number 3 starter in place now. You're going into the final 2 weekends against Bama and Texas A&M, having had a winning record since South Carolina. I mean, actually, you have a winning record. You're 1 game over 500 since you started 1-8 in the conference. I mean, you're 8-7 in your last 15 SEC games. I'm not telling you that's going to win you a championship, but when you started 1-8, yeah, I'll take it for sure. So going into these final 2 weekends, knowing you got to win these next 2 weekends, I think LSU should. I think in some respects, I don't say you disregard the record, but consider what they are now compared to what they were when they started 1-8 against 3 teams that are all currently in the top 8 in the country. They are a much better team than they were 2 months ago, than they were a month ago. And that's encouraging. Paul Maneri did meet with the media today, and he didn't mince words when he talked about how important this week is for his team.
I think our RPI is 22 this morning, if I'm not mistaken. And what was text? I want to say it was 23 or 24, if I'm not mistaken. And Alabama's this weekend is in the 20s as well. So this is a week of 4 games with really good RPIs, and the more wins you can pile up against teams with good RPIs, the more solid it makes your resume. This is a very critical week. I mean, there's only 2 weeks left in the regular season, obviously. Yeah. But I've told our players this is the most important week of the season. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. If you want to play in the NCAA tournament, we have to get the job done this week.
I'm legitimately not interested in doing the whole midweek game argument, whatever. It would be nice to beat Louisiana Tech tomorrow, but realistically, and listen, Todd Walker explained this on the SEC or the ESPNU broadcast on Friday, and I didn't know this statistic until I heard them discuss it. Teams in the SEC, historically in this format, that win 13 conference games make it to regional play around a third of the time. When you get to 14 SEC wins, it's about 65% of SEC teams that have gotten to 14 wins make it into regional play. You know what your benchmark is. And if LSU beats Louisiana Tech but has 12 conference wins, they're not getting in. If LSU loses to Louisiana Tech but wins the next 2 weekends and they're at 13 and 17, they go to Hoover and win a game, I think they're in, regardless of what happens. Would you like to compile wins and RPI opportunities? Absolutely. All that's very valid. I'm not going to discredit any of that. But the game tomorrow night isn't going to be the benchmark by which the selection committee or the deciding factor by which the selection committee chooses whether or not to include LSU. And I'll remind you, 2 years ago, Florida was 13 and 17, and they got in. The committee is going to want LSU in, give them a reason to put you in. At 13 and 17, win a game in Hoover, have an RPI somewhere inside of 25, I think you're a virtual shoe in there. As for tomorrow, the game against Louisiana Tech, Paul Maneri today did address the weather being a potential issue tomorrow.
We were supposed to have a meeting this morning with our event management people, but we put it off until tomorrow because the weather just seems to change all the time. It was supposed to rain all day here today. We're actually looking at not blue skies, but dryness outside. We got the tarp on the field last night, and of course, thunderstorms hit. So the field's in great shape. We actually have the tarp off the field. We're going to practice on the field today. Hopefully the weather forecast is going to change for tomorrow. I'm sure that Lane wants to get the game in. We want to get the game in. It would be beneficial for both teams to play the game tomorrow. Both teams have a pretty solid RPI. Louisiana Tech's ranked in the polls right now. I think I saw a poll where they were 14th. I'm not sure what all the polls said, but it would be a very good game to be played, and we're hoping to get it in.
When you look at the weather tomorrow, as of this moment, starting around 10 a.m., they're calling for scattered thunderstorms and that lasting really throughout the day in Baton Rouge, according to the National Weather Service. So it's looking like it's going to be a really tough opportunity to get this game in tomorrow if this persists, just because they're calling for thunderstorms from 10 a.m. all the way through the nighttime hours and overnight into early morning on Wednesday. So the weather's just looking really bad in the Baton Rouge area. They'll see if they can have a chance, maybe a clearing to get this game in. But as of this point, it certainly doesn't seem likely. We'll see if there's an opportunity at some point. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by Hudco Roofing. Speaking of all those thunderstorms. Well, today was a busy day for us at Hudco. HudcoRoofing.com. So many people, as a result of the hailstorms a couple of weeks ago and the awful weather on Sunday night, sometimes you wake up and you realize you got a leak in your house, and that stinks. So there's a way to be proactive, and it's what I encourage you to do all the time. call us at HUDCO. Let us come by. We'll do a free, no-obligation roof inspection. We'll get on your roof, let you know if you have roof damage. If you do, we will take care of everything. We'll file the claim for you. We'll help you file the claim with your insurance company and work with your insurance company. We'll meet the adjuster to get your roof claim approved, and you get a new roof, and all you pay is your deductible. HUDCOroofing.com, HUDCOroofing.com. Lots of different ways you can contact us over at HUDCO. You can go to the website, HUDCOroofing.com. There's a contact form there on the top of the page. If you'd rather text, there's a text bubble there, a widget on the bottom right of the website if you'd rather text, or you can always do it the old-fashioned way and give us a shout in Baton Rouge, 225. It's 364-1007, 364-1007. And remember, our Bossier office as well. If you're Alexandria or north and you have roofing issues, call our Bossier office for HUDCO Roofing. HUDCOroofing.com. As Terrio always says, do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. All right, it's after further review. We will knock out a quick break, come back, wrap up hour number 2. Muso will have Tigers in the pros. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Camry for $299 per month. That's $299 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I'm feeling good. So good. I just thought you should know.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
You know, we're going to start with a little track and field today.
Okay.
Because when the potential for gold medals are involved, that's pretty big news. And former Tiger sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson is poised to be the United States' first gold medal winner in the 100 meters in 26 years. At the upcoming Tokyo Games.
Is it FloJo? Jackie Joyner-Kersee?
Oh, God. I don't see. I didn't.
It's got to be Jackie Joyner-Kersee.
I think it was. And then whoever won it in 2000, she had her gold medal stripped. So it was 96 was the last
96
time.
would have been Jackie Joyner-Kersee.
There you go. Richardson competed at this past weekend's USATF Golden Games ahead of the U.S. Olympic trials and won the women's 100 meters with times of 10.74 and 10.77. This is interesting.
Dude, she smoked.
Oh, she's dominant.
That field. Is her hair blue or purple? It's blue.
Blue.
I wish it was purple. God, I wish it was purple. It'd be so better. Like, dude, if she went straight like purple gold.
It'd be epic.
Oh,
maybe she's saving that for the Olympics.
It. That was the finals?
Yeah.
She smoked him in the like that wasn't just her heat. That was the finals.
Wasn't even close.
Holy moly, Bagoli.
She's also the one who, while at LSU, smoked the field and turned around and started talking garbage to him.
I remember.
And the announcer got all offended by it.
Oh, man.
Sha'Carri Richardson, she's awesome. Dominant. The 10.77 she ran came in a headwind of 1.2 meters per second. Made it the fastest time ever into that much wind. She also ran a 10.72 in April. 6th fastest time in women's track and field history. Pretty darn good, that's Sha'Carri Richardson.
I like, she also, when
Tokyo, look out.
When she finished the race, she kind of had this look on her face like, you know what I mean? Get out of the way.
Yeah. That was supposed to be a challenge type look.
Golly.
To the association, Nas Reed.
Dan Brashear says Jackie Joyner-Kersee was a heptathlete. So, who then won the 1996?
I'm pretty sure it was Jackie Joyner. I remember seeing her name in the article when I was reading about
gold medal.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
100 meters, right?
Yeah. So here it's
So Gail Devers, did she win it? Did she win it 96 and then is the one who got stripped in 2000 as well? Remember her? She had like, I'm not missing. Gail Devers had like the long, really long fingernails. Like she sprinted with like mega fingernails. Let's see.
All right. While we're looking that up, I'm going to tell you about Nas Reed. He nearly had a double-double last night in
Gail Devers, 10.94. Won the gold.
She wouldn't beat Sha'Carri Richardson, 10.77. Not as fast as our girl. Nearly a double-double for Nas Reed last night in the Timberwolves' 128-96 win over the Magic. 9 points, 8 boards in 16 minutes off the bench for Nas. He was 3 of 5 shooting and added 4 assists. Major League Baseball, Riley Smith got the start versus the Mets yesterday. Decent day on the bump. 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, both earned, a walk and a strikeout. The problem is that the Mets threw some guy named DeGrom. And when DeGrom throws, teams don't score a lot.
Yeah.
And because of that, Smith took the loss. His record now 1-2.
Neither do the Mets.
That's fair. Neither do the Mets. But they were to scratch across a few. Got a win 4-2 behind their guy. And finally, Aaron Nola got the start last night. And the Braves were just not kind to the former Tiger, chasing him after 4 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned, a walk, and a strikeout.
Whatever.
Nola suffered the loss and saw his record fall to 3-2.
Whatever, Moose.
That's Tigers in the
Please tell me about all the St. Michael the Archangel pitchers on Sunday Night Baseball.
I mean,
tell me about that, please.
I don't
That's
know
what I want
why.
to hear.
I don't know why you're taking shots.
That's what I want to hear.
Don't
sitting
shoot
here
the
taking
messenger
shots.
here,
You're taking
Matt.
shots. What
I'm
you're
just
doing.
telling you that Aaron Nola didn't have a great night last night.
Yeah, the way you delivered it made it sound like you were jabbing me in the eye. Hey, guess what? You know what happened this weekend?
What's that?
In the high school baseball playoffs?
Oh.
Pounded St. Paul's. Where's Brain?
Take that, Brain.
Yeah, take that, Brain. Whatever. I mean, he always tries to feel like St. Paul's belongs in that whole conversation. Nobody's ever even heard of them before. I don't think they've ever won anything. Ever. In anything.
No, I'm pretty sure they won state a couple years ago in something.
No.
I think they did. I think they did, but
I never even heard of them. Take that, Brain.
Yeah.
This is like a down year for Catholic, too. Still going to Salford. Hanging banners. That's all we do. Mad at you, Musso. Get over it during the break. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Every single month, they always tell you. They'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. Now, how they make that work, that's what makes Shawbills better than anyone. Better than the big box stores, better than the membership clubs, better and cheaper than any other tire store because there are manufacturers' offers, and then Shawbills always makes their own offers on top and independent of the manufacturer's offer so they can get you the best price possible because at Shawbills, they know when they get you in to sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible, and they treat you like solid gold. They treat you like family. You're going to sing their praises and keep coming back year after year after year. Interesting business strategy, huh? It's worked for 5 decades. It'll work for 5 more. ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. Shawbills. We keep you rolling.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Lakers may end up in the play-in tournament, but ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports LeBron James may be ready to play tomorrow night against the Knicks. James is now pain-free after a high right ankle sprain. With 4 games left in the regular season, the Knicks are 4th in the East. ESPN's Jeff Van Gundy.
Thibodeau, what do they have, 38 wins right now, and they were predicted by Vegas to have 22.5. It's astounding. He and Julius Randle, to me, have put together a season for the ages.
Jeff Van Gundy on Key J and Z. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, offensive lineman Eric Fisher will sign a 1-year deal with the Colts. Fisher was the number 1 overall pick in the 2013 draft and spent 8 years with the Chiefs, including the Super Bowl 54 title team. Taking advantage of new rules on jersey numbers, Carolina Panthers first-round pick J.C. Horn, who's a cornerback, will wear number 8. The Summer Olympics are still on, but most people in Japan think the game should be postponed or canceled.
We're back on Tuesday, and I'll rank my top point guards of all time. Will Russell Westbrook make the cut? Find out tomorrow. That's Tuesday morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tumpley. We're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock. Quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. We got a lot to do here over the next hour. LSU lands a 5-star for the class of 2021. We'll get to that here just a little bit. A legend is leaving ESPN. That's also coming up. Otter Locks, what we learned, ton to do. But we do this every Monday, recapping the weekend series that was. Former Tiger All-American ace Anthony Ranaudo, good enough to join us here on the show. Talk a little Tiger baseball. Thanks for the time as always, man. How are you?
Always, Matt. I'm great, man. Thank you. And thanks for the ace comment, man. You stroked the ego today. That feels good.
Bro,
thanks,
I mean, am I telling any lies here?
I can't argue with it, but I would never, I'm not, I think Lewis Coleman was the ace, so that it just feels good that you said that,
In 2010, were you not the ace of the staff?
Well, my stats say otherwise. I was pretty awful. So
also battled some injuries that year.
That's it. No, I know. Thank you, man. No, I appreciate it. I felt like I was the ace. We won the SEC tournament. That was fun at the end, So at least there was a good way to go out. Thanks, man.
But it's actually a good way to segue because this team does kind of feel a lot like that one, that 2010 team, doesn't it? I mean, you're talking about a team that had to dig itself out of a hole. You have Marceau at the front of the rotation, and they're piecing things together now. I mean, when you look at this team, do you see those correlations? Now, look, we're 11 years removed, so there's some who may not remember everything about that season, but do you see some correlations?
You know what's funny is I was actually thinking that. I was looking at the records and everything, and I think I would have to go back and look, but I want to say we were just over 30-something wins going into SEC tournament, so I think that's probably where this team's going to lie if they, the last 2 weeks play out well and they get to that tournament. So I see a lot of correlation. I think they're a little younger than we were. We had some veteran, not veterans, but we had some guys that were from that World Series team. So the year before that just weren't performing. So it was a little different, storyline. But I think as far as the energy, and the way that momentum works and the way that we caught momentum at the end of the year and rolling into the SEC tournament and stuff like that, this could be, and you're always looking for parallels and positivity. So, hopefully this team has that, I could see it for sure.
I mean, Anthony, I remember in that year, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't 2010 the year where Matty Ott was tried as a starting pitcher because he had a really long relief outing? Or was that,
yep.
That was 10,
that was
right?
it.
I mean, it's like.
Yep, that was it. We were throwing a lot of things against the wall. Yeah, I came out the bullpen the last series against Mississippi State. Dude, there was a lot of things thrown into the fire. But yeah, that was the year. I think he started against Florida one series early in the year when they were 1 and we were still ranked pretty high.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild. Yeah.
So, look, it kind of brings up the segue that I wanted to talk about here, which was Mikal Hilliard, because LSU's tried a lot of things in that Sunday role ever since obviously Jaden's injury. But it feels like now Mikal with back-to-back solid outings, he's established himself. So what's happened with Mikal Hilliard that he's gone from not starting an SEC game since 2018 to establishing himself now?
Well, I'm hoping what you're seeing is just a a guy maybe taking the bull by the horns, an older guy on the team and being like, I'm going to step up. I'm going to be the guy that we need. Maybe this is the storyline, around the pitching staff that we needed. The bats have been there all year as far as, energy-wise, younger group of guys that are kind of cocky and stuff. So maybe he's taking the reins. That's what I want to hope on. But I just love his competitiveness. But I think from a stats perspective, obviously it's the ability to throw strikes, right? He's filling up the zone. And when you're throwing 7 1/3 innings on 100 pitches or going out for the 7th and that kind of stuff, it's a lot different than what you saw from him early in the year. He had just as many walks as strikeouts. Sorry.
It's all good, man.
The dog's barking in the background.
Real life, live radio. So, but the thing with Mikal, though, is, all right, I'm not going to ask a leading question anyway. When you look at Mikal, if you're analyzing Mikal, give me the scouting report on him.
So I love Mikal because he's got that big curveball, but he's also got that natural cut on his four seam, right? So he throws 87 to 90, 91, 92 on a good day, but he's got that natural cut. So I would have to look at his numbers, but he doesn't have great backspin, but it's the ability to cut the ball and then be able to throw that big bender off of it. And if he can throw his curveball 4 strikes and then use it as an out pitch and then mix in that heater with a little bit of cut, that's a really dangerous combo. And it's, like I said, strikes with that combo, man, it's really like having a field day. When I had a little bit of a cutter, towards the end of my career, if I could command my curveball 4 strike, open up the back door to lefties, and then use it as an out pitch and jam lefties with a cutter, man, I was having a field day. So, but again, it all comes down to being able to fill up the zone and command that curveball 4 strike. So they have to respect it, right? And then that makes the cutter more deadly. So I think that's what you're seeing with Mikal.
Is it just that the way that we've always talked about it here, Anthony, is Mikal's a guy that has one real dominant pitch, right? I mean, his breaking ball, since he was a freshman, we've talked about the spin rate is like a major league spin rate on that breaking ball. Yep. But he's an 87, 89 guy with his fastball. So if he's not throwing the curveball for a strike, his secondary stuff really isn't good enough to get good hitters out. So, I mean, is it really, am I oversimplifying it to say if Mikal Hilliard doesn't throw the curveball for a strike, he's going to be in trouble?
100%. Because, I mean, if I'm a hitter, right, and a good hitter wants to eliminate pitches, you'll hear a good big league, if you ask Terry about this, right, especially against dominant guys, you got to be able to eliminate pitches or say, hey, look, I'm looking for this one pitch in this one zone. So for the ability for a hitter to say, okay, he's not throwing his curveball for a strike, anytime I see it up, I just automatically shut my brain off. I'm taking it, right? If I see the curveball in a certain spot, that's when I have to swing and put some contact on it. But it just makes the bat more simple for the hitter. So I think 100%, if you command that curveball for a strike and use it as an out pitch, Mikal's going to probably have a pretty successful outing and put us in a position to win the game late in the game. So, throwing strikes, name of the game from day one.
So that's obviously been the issue he's had is commanding that pitch consistently. Now he's done it. He's done it 3 consecutive outings because the game against Grambling, he did it as well. So obviously a different level of competition. But is it realistic, Anthony, to think, okay, man, something's changed to where he's just got it now? Like, is it that simple, like, to where you can just have it?
Yeah. And you know what's funny, as a curveball, and like certain pitches, right, are kind of like that. For me, I would ebb and flow throughout my career, and even the season, even like stretches, right, where you're just like, oh man, I can throw this in my sleep. It's a visualization thing, it's a feel thing, it's a confidence thing. Maybe, AD and him have some sort of, system that they love. Like it could be anything. It could be the catcher, the way the catcher and him started communicating, and he changed his line of sight. Again, it would be something I would probably have to sit down with McHale and ask. But yeah, it really can be as simple as, oh man, I found it. Now I have this confidence and I'm using this pitch in a different way that I haven't, in a long time. So again, like throughout my career, 10 years, 12 years or whatever that I was playing, there was times where I was like, I can't believe this baseball feels so foreign in my hand. I have to try to throw a strike. And then there's other times I'm like, this is such a joke. This is, where do you want this? Oh, okay, over there. Oh, nice. Yeah, here we go. So it really does. It's just a matter of like, how long can you stay in that zone? I guess makes the difference of a really good pitcher.
All right, Anthony Ranaudo is with us for a couple of more minutes. How much does it change Paul Mainieri, Alan Dunn approaching a weekend when you've got a number 3 guy?
I think it makes you become a lot more aggressive with your bullpen. If you got a guy that is going to go 6-7 innings and put you in a position to win the game Sunday, it allows you to use weapons in the bullpen, right? You're seeing Edwards, I think he got another save of 2 innings. So you're just allowing these weapons to go, and that's what I think is such a tool. And that's the difference, is being able to go for the win on Friday and Saturday and having that in your back pocket, and not thinking like, oh man, we got to protect, we got to have it certain innings. That's a huge, I think, peace of mind. Again, if you talk to a coach, I feel like when you manage a staff in a college weekend, that's a huge blessing.
That 2010 team we talked about, I looked it up, 14-16 in the conference. 14?
Exactly, almost where they're at
right
now. Right?
14,
yeah, so they get a little hot right now.
14-16, and then went and won the SEC tournament.
Yep.
When you look at LSU, 2 games at home against Bama, maybe 2 on the road against A&M, that puts them at 13-17. As a player, are you considering resume things like that? Are you thinking and talking about what you have to do to get into a regional?
I think so. And I think it kind of ignites that fire with younger guys. Like, hey, our backs are against the wall. Like, what are we going to do? Are we going to respond? I think it's a little bit of a slippery slope if you're more on the winning end of that, right? Not the chasing end. So I think it's easier to be on the end than it is, the leading end, and you're looking almost, underneath you. But if you're chasing the carrot, I think it's pretty interesting, and you guys can make some interesting dialogue amongst the team and the clubhouse, set motivations. So I like that, and I like a young team that's cocky like this to be like, hey, all right, go win 4 out of 6, go win 5 out of 6. Like, let's see if we can do this, type thing. So I'm all for it. I hope they are. I think that would be a healthy thing for them. But who knows? Every team's different.
Anthony Ranaudo joins us every Monday. Former Tiger great, of course. F45 right there, Bluebonnet near Highland. You can always get a free week to go work out with Anthony and the gang over there at F45. And, of course, Cards and Culture. What's the latest on Cards and Culture, man?
Man, it's developing. We're painting over there today. Yeah, we're getting ready to open up. We'll probably have soft opening first week of June, and probably have a grand opening later on in that first week of June. I'm really excited about it, man. It's going to be a cool space, and there's going to be some really fun events, and I'm sure we'll be on here talking about Louisiana Legends Hour, VIP Hour. We're going to be doing some cool giveaways and charity events, small business events. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Cardsandculture.com, cardsandculture.com. And, of course, you're looking to get in shape here before a beach season. Get on over to see Anthony and the gang at F45. Thanks, man, as always. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, man. Have a great day.
All right, man. We'll see you. It is After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a quick break. You want to get involved, you can. Let's talk some LSU hoops. Tigers land 5-star Efton Reed. Talk about it next on AFR.
AFR.
Monday means all-you-can-eat wings at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Pelicans play tonight at 7 o'clock. So here's what you do. It's 5:14 right now. Knocking off of work, just go straight to Pluckers. Either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Belly up to the bar, grab a table, call your buddies, invite them. Go hang out. Start ordering wings because it's all you can eat. Pay one price, eat as many wings as you can eat all night long. So get there now. Go watch the Pels play at 7. Wrap it up around 9:30 or so. Take it to the house. Pluckers, Nicholson or Bluebonnet, dine in or carry out. Tonight and every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Every single sporting event that you want to watch, they got it at Pluckers. If it's the NBA as we head toward the playoffs, NHL, Major League Baseball, you love the Astros, but you can't get the Astros at home because Major League Baseball TV rules suck, go to Pluckers. Nicholson or Bluebonnet, dine in, carry out. You don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Kushner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Rolling along 5 o'clock hour. Glad you're with us here. It's got a text from Lewis Coleman, who said, by the way, bacon dog treats on sale for $9.99. That, of course, is at KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. Kentucky's best. Muso's dog likes the Kentucky's Best Hemp dog treats, CBD dog treats. I got an arthritic dog. Check them out. $9.99 right now online. Use the promo code AFR30. Save 30% off your order. So what would that be, Muse? Save 30% off, and they're $9.99. Like $6.66. The mark of the beast. Maybe just pay the $9.99. So LSU got a commitment, not a commitment. They got the signature from Efton Reed, 5-star out of IMG Academy down in Bradenton. His commitment had been expected for a while and had not come. And then Sunday, not only did the commitment come, but also the signed letter of intent to LSU. So Efton Reed is officially an LSU Tiger, 7 foot, 240-pound center. He is a 5-star, originally from Virginia, is now at IMG Academy down in Bradenton, Florida. This past season, averaged a double-double, 16 and 11, the 24th best prospect in the country, the number 3 center in the nation, the number 3 prospect out of Florida. He becomes the 4th signee for this cycle for LSU. When you look at Brandon Murray, his teammate there at IMG, Jarrell Colbert, who's also a center, and then early enrollee Alex Fudge, who had been practicing with the team this past semester after enrolling early. And then when you look at the transfer market, where they've been very aggressive with Adam Miller, Xavier Pinson, Tari Easton, and then Seneca Knight, who had also already been with the team. But this is incredible. You get Efton Reed, who, despite facing negative recruiting at every turn, Will Wade and his staff just keep reeling in these big fish. They obviously needed size, and we've gone over this now. This has been really a 2-year conversation. They had the team that had Cavell Bigby Williams and Naz Reid. Of course, Cavell graduated, Naz went off to the NBA, and they just didn't replace that size. And when Emmett Williams at 6'5" is playing the 5, you're going to be vulnerable in the post, and LSU was. Last year, Will Wade and his staff, to their credit, acknowledged that. They tried to fix it. They went and signed Josh Gray, who was a 7-footer. They went and signed Brian Penn Johnson as the transfer from Washington. They got the immediate eligibility waiver. Well, Josh Gray never really developed. Brian Penn Johnson played 5 games, was homesick, went back to California. You got nothing out of him. You did add Sharif O'Neal, but he also spent the bulk of the season out with sickness and with injury. So, again, you had Trendon Watford and not much after that. Josh LeBlanc, as a 7-footer, played pretty well for you, but he really didn't come into his own really until later in the season. But here they go again, addressing the need for size and length and rim protection and rebounding. And I respect it. I mean, it's understanding that the way that you had recruited prior, you needed to fix it. And they have. So you add now Efton Reed, who's a legit 7-footer. He's a 5-star, potential one-and-done guy. Colbert, 6'9", a lot of length. Tari Eason, 6'8", power forward, great leaping ability and length. He can give you great rim protection like he did this past. He was a great shot blocker this past year at Cincinnati. Bradley Azawiro is also in this class at 6'8". And then Alex Fudge, who we mentioned, he's been practicing with the team, but he's also in this class, also 6'8". And then you look at who you return. Sharif O'Neal, we hope, is back healthy. They have him listed at 6'10", although he might be a hair under that. And then Josh LeBlanc's at 6'7". So considering 2 years ago, your biggest player was Emmett Williams. And, well, I guess you had Trendon Watford as a freshman. But after that, you had Emmett Williams playing the 5 at 6'5". Now you've got Reed at 7 foot, Colbert at 6'9", Easton, Azawiro, Fudge, all at 6'8", O'Neal at 6'10", LeBlanc at 6'7". I mean, that's 7 guys, all bigger than the biggest guy you had playing the 5 2 years ago. They've gotten rim protection. They've gotten length. They've gotten bigger bodies in the post, which means you're never going to run into a team that's going to be able to outmatch you physically. We asked this question we had this conversation earlier with Billy Embody, and is this a top 4 team roster wise in the SEC? And I think he agreed.
This team, if those guys put it together, really has a chance to make a run at the SEC, because if you look at the 3, the 4, the 5, they're really, really good. I mean, they have some talent. Seneca Knight is somebody people are really high on that could play the 3. Alex Fudge, if he can stay healthy, get the weight room, get more size, he led the team in blocks. It seems like in practice, at least since he stepped on campus. Tari Easton was a really good shot blocker and defensive player. Lonnie Wilkinson could take a step forward. And you add Jarrell Colbert and Reed. I mean, it just seems like this roster is very different in a way than some of the rosters that Will Wade's put together. It seems like it's much more defensively balanced.
For what it's worth, John Rothstein, national college basketball writer for CBS Sports, when he tweeted the news about Efton Reed's commitment, he followed it up by saying early prediction for LSU's 21-22 starting five: Xavier Pinson, Adam Miller, Mwani Wilkinson, Tari Eason, Efton Reed. It's a hell of a starting five. And keep in mind, the only player in that projected starting five that was here a year ago was Mwani. And he averaged 17 minutes a game, just 3 points and 2 boards. It wasn't like he was a main contributor. Now, late down the stretch, he got some more minutes and became more of an impact guy. But throughout the course of the season, he only started 14 games, and much of that was late. So the big question really facing Will Wade and his staff is, can you take all of these guys who are coming together having never played together? Essentially, you've turned over half your roster, more than half your roster. I mean, 4 signees, 4 transfers, 8 guys on a 13-man roster. Can you take this roster of guys who haven't played together and get them to gel? It's the challenge that a program like Kentucky with John Calipari faces every year, where he has a handful of one-and-dones that leave the program every year. The difference is you're not dealing with maybe a less mature roster because everyone's so young. You're dealing with guys that have been in college basketball mostly, who have a great incentive to come together, to play together, to win, and to increase their own draft stock by improving on both ends of the floor. I'm excited to see it, man. And I think, Will Wade's going to be with us tomorrow in hour 1. And, I'll ask him, what his pitch is to these guys. But my guess is, in some respects, it's going to be, you can go to Duke, you can go to North Carolina or Kansas, you can go to Kentucky, any of these places. And you can look up in the rafters and you see dozens of retired jerseys and national championship banners, and you would just be a footnote in their storied history. Or you can come here and create a legacy, which all these guys have a chance to do at a place like LSU. And this could very well be a very, very fun winter with the roster that Will Wade has put together, utilizing the new rules in the transfer portal and immediate eligibility. So the latest, though, from the high school ranks, Efton Reed, 5-star center out of IMG Academy. He is now officially an LSU Tiger. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. I want to remind you, and I was having this conversation with my dad over the weekend, because my dad drives a Passat, Volkswagen Passat, but he's seen me driving my Atlas, and he loves it. My mom just got an Atlas as well. I mean, I don't know if there's any better endorsement. I drive an Atlas. My wife drives an Atlas. My mom drives an Atlas. My cousin Steven went and bought an Atlas. His father-in-law went and bought an Atlas. Like, it's an amazing full-size family SUV that's luxurious and affordable, and they got great inventory. But anyway, my dad drives a Passat, but he's wanted an Atlas. And I said, Dad, it's actually a really good time because certified pre-owned inventory is low. It's an awesome time to go trade in your vehicle. You're getting top dollar right now for trade-ins. So if you've been thinking about something new, it's really a phenomenal time because you'll likely be able to get top dollar for your trade-in and get in something new at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. New certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, it's After Further Review. You can always tweet the show at Matt Moscona, at 1045 ESPN. Jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. You can text me in the 225. It's 396-4400, 396-4400. There was a guy in the chat named Jeff who said Matt is not interested in discussing midweek games because it shows how stupid he has been arguing they don't matter. Jeff, I'd like to remind you at this moment, and anyone else, LSU is undefeated in midweek games this year. They haven't lost one. And they're not in a single regional projection. They're outside looking in. Because midweek games don't matter. Yes, go play them, try to win. But there's a reason that coaches rest starters and just try to get guys work and tinker with the lineup because they don't matter. When you play in the SEC and you have 30 conference games, that is going to weigh more heavily on your strength of schedule and your RPI. That's what's going to matter. If LSU goes undefeated in the midweek, but they're 12-18 in SEC play, they're not getting into a regional. So, no, the game against Louisiana Tech doesn't matter for their regional hopes at all. None. Zero. If they beat Tech and go 2-4 over the final 2 weekends, they ain't getting in, period. It don't matter. Go take care of business on the weekends. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. An ESPN legend is leaving the network. Talk about that when we come back. Otterlock still ahead, what we learned today. Glad you're hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Stick around.
AFR.
Man, the Baton Rouge real estate market is in fuego, absolutely on fire right now. If you have ever even thought about listing your home, call Darren James. And I'm seeing this so much. You've heard me for years say that Darren James has a network of buyers. When you can literally call Darren and say, Darren, how many buyers do you have lined up to buy my property? And he can literally give you a number because he has a network of buyers lined up ready to buy exactly what you're selling. So what if you could sell your home for top dollar without ever having to list it, without ever having to do listing photos, without ever having to do showings, without ever having to do an open house, without ever having to leave the house really quickly and making the bed and throwing the dirty dishes in the oven just to get them out of the way? Could be possible. You got to call Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Call Darren James. Get your home sold.
Think real estate, think Darren James. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Well, I've had back pain now and then, but it got so bad I couldn't even bend over. I didn't want to resort to pain pills, so I chose Peak, hoping they could relieve the pain. They got me active again. I even lost weight. I believe in better. I chose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
What if you could truly energize your body and mind from the most fundamental level, your cells? Cellivate is a revolutionary health-aware approach to energy, focus, and mood enhancement, packing everything you need to optimize your mind and body from the inside out. The unique formula combines top-notch cellular energizers, nootropics, herbal extracts, and powerful antioxidants, all in one sugar-free 12-ounce can. Elevate your cells. Cellivate.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Camry for $299 per month. That's $299 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, Trolling Motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or Tom.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
A legendary run at ESPN is coming to an end. Kenny Mayne, longtime SportsCenter anchor, has announced via his Twitter that he is leaving ESPN. I'll read you the tweet. For those watching, you'll see it here. He wrote, "I'm leaving ESPN, salary cap casualty. Thanks for the opportunity, Vince Doria and Al Jaffe, and for taking my solicitations. Herman Stinton Lynch. I will miss the people. I will miss the vending machine set up over by the old Van Pelt joint. We had everything. Into the great wide open, hashtag." As only Kenny Mayne would, he put the hashtag at the end of the statement. He's brilliant. Kenny Mayne, the thing about ESPN, obviously, and SportsCenter anchors is so many have come through and done it, and so many had their own style. And when you had a unique style, you stood out among a lot of very talented broadcasters. Stuart Scott was obviously so notable for injecting hip-hop culture into the way he did highlights. And he is one of the greatest to ever do it because he brought a different style. If it's Scott Van Pelt, if it were Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann for the way they tag-teamed the show, the big show, I mean, there are ones that stand out of the many, many who have gone through the years and anchored SportsCenter. And Kenny Mayne is one of them for his dry wheat toast in the Sahara humor. I mean, it was so dry and subtle that it was overwhelming, if that's the proper way to put it. But salary cap casualty. Meanwhile, talking heads keep getting seven-figure annual raises. It's a statement of where media is going, certainly. I met Kenny Mayne one time. I remember I met both Mike Tirico and Kenny Mayne the same day. It was in 2003 in New Orleans when Syracuse beat Kansas to win the national championship in college basketball. If you remember the game, it was Carmelo, it was Jerry McNamara, Nick Collison for Kansas bricked a couple of free throws late, kind of cost him the game, or an opportunity at the game. Hakeem Warwick came up with a big block on what would have been a game-tying shot right at the end. Anyway, after the game, I was there with a buddy of mine. He and I went, do what you do. You go to Bourbon Street. It's Monday night, national champion crown. Let's go see what's happening. Well, Mike Tirico is a Syracuse alum, so he was there just as a fan. So we just saw him, hanging out, drinking huge-ass beers on Bourbon Street. Chatted with him for a bit. Really nice guy. And then I just saw this guy standing on a street corner, like by himself, not talking to anyone, just standing on the corner, just looking around, hands in his pockets. And I looked at him, I said to my brother, I was like, that looks like Kenny Mayne. So I walk over to him and I'm like, hey, excuse me, are you Kenny Mayne? He's like, yeah, I am. I was like, man, I love your stuff, man. You're great. Just wanted to give you a compliment, whatever. He said, he's super humble about it. But you know what stood out the most about Kenny Mayne? Musso, I think you're taller than Kenny Mayne.
Really now?
Kenny Mayne is tiny.
Not a big guy.
And he played college quarterback at UNLV. I'm floored by that. I want to make sure about that part, or if it wasn't at UNLV, it was so, like he played, I'm almost positive it was at UNLV. Let me just make sure, because I'm doing that on the fly. He graduated from UNLV in 1982. While at UNLV, Maine was a backup quarterback for 2 years. Later signed as a free agent with the Seattle Seahawks. How about that? Okay. How Kenny Mayne played, like, Drew Brees at 6 foot would be a giant next to Kenny Mayne, as I recall. But nonetheless, he's awesome. His career at ESPN is fantastic. Kenny Mayne is actually 61 years old now, but ESPN apparently moving on, as they have with so many of their on-air talent over the years, over the past handful of years, certainly as there's been a fundamental shift in media and conversation, opinion shows are dominating way more than the news shows. Just the nature of it. The evolution of how media has happened. But Kenny Mayne is a super talent, a favorite of many, but announced today that he's leaving ESPN. So wish him well in whatever might be next. All right, it's after further review. By the way, had a really good weekend. Had 2 companion shows for LSU baseball over the weekend, including Friday night. It was really nice of Terrio and Patrick Coogan and Hunt Palmer and Matthew Musso to jump aboard with us here. Musso, you are going to have to explain yourself, though.
What do you mean?
Paulie, can you grab this? All right, so this is the companion show. We did it on my personal YouTube page. Oh, look, was Brookie B right there. Anyway, Hunt, bottom left, that's Hunt's ceiling, because I'm assuming he put his phone down to go get a beer.
Yeah, most likely.
So that's why the phone is just now looking at his ceiling. Coogan, well, he went away. I don't know what happened. I think his phone.
That was when his phone died.
His phone died. Didn't have it charged. So here it's me, Hunt's ceiling, and Musso, who looks like, as someone noted in the chat, Jabba the Hutt right there. Did you just not care at all about the angle?
Hey, look, man, it's the weekend. We're chilling in the recliner. We're watching some LSU baseball. We're gonna be comfortable. I mean, I don't know. No, the angle is not on my mind. Comfort was on my mind, Matt. That and watching LSU hopefully take a series, which they did. There's a few beers in at that point. So yeah, no, I mean, I'm here to be comfortable and give some takes on the game, and I think we accomplished all of that.
Muse, for those who are listening and not watching, so I went live from Zoom, and then I sent Zoom to my YouTube channel, so that way we could have
that virtual Zoom, bro.
That's been a long time.
Been a while.
So we could have multiple people on the stream, and look at yourself.
Hey, what?
Look how absurd you look.
I think I look comfortable.
So Muse is in his recliner, and he obviously has his phone on the armrest looking at him. So it's like the majority of the shot is your stomach and chest, and your head looks very distant and tiny.
Yeah.
It almost looks like you shrunk your head because of the camera angle. And you're not a large person, but this makes you look like a blob. It makes you look like Jabba the Hutt.
I'll be honest, I don't look super in shape right there.
No!
But, I mean, like I said, we're a few beers deep. So, I mean, you might be a little bloated after a few beers. And I'm all about comfort right now.
A few beers aren't going to, but it's just, if you had just lifted the camera, and so it was coming more at a straight-on angle instead of, like, up at you, it wouldn't have looked so...
You do look massively overweight.
It looks so unflattering.
And I'm not. Like, that's the thing.
Bad.
Like you said, I'm not. But
so
I say it again. I was there for comfort, to watch LSU play some baseball, give a few takes on the game.
Yeah.
I think we accomplished all of that.
We had a good time.
Yeah, those are fun, man. I mean, it's a lot of laughs.
I know.
Coogan was roasting everybody.
Coogan was roasting you.
He roasted me, but he roasted everybody.
Cougar was on fire. Oh, so look at Hunt in this pic. Like, he's just sitting there not talking. None of us are talking. So we're looking at Coogan's floor. That's probably what we're talking about. Anyway, companion shows tend to be fun. You crack open a bottle or a brew or whatever is your favorite beverage, and we hang out while the game's going on. It was a lot of fun. So thanks to everybody who participated. We'll fire one up again this weekend if you're interested. All right, it's after further review. Maybe we'll get Musso the Blob in there again.
Well, I'll be at the box, so that might be a little bit of a tough. Yeah.
You're going all 3 games?
All 3 games.
Okay. Next week at A&M.
There it is.
I mean, I'll still be doing a companion show, but no Musso this weekend, apparently. Maybe we can give away an appearance on our companion show. Like, let somebody in the audience come on. That's dangerous, though, man. I went on a Facebook Live after the Saints lost to the Bucks in the playoffs.
Oh, this year.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And would anyone who's ever watched Whiskey and Wine multiply that by 18? That was me after the Saints lost to the Bucks. And then I started bringing viewers on live. This was the point. And one guy was on his toilet. We didn't see anything graphic, but he was very clearly sitting on the toilet.
That's aggressive. I mean, that's just really aggressive.
I know. That's what I get. Okay. Speaking of very uncomfortable things that degenerates do, let's talk to Jimmy Ott next. It's AFR.
AFR.
On Saturday, went to Clegg's Nursery. Part of our Mother's Day tradition every year, Mother's Day weekend, Erica always wants to go by Clegg's on Saturday. So we did this Saturday. Me, Erica, Drew went over to Clegg's. Greenhouses were full. Erica said, hey, you want to come shop for flowers? Nope. You just pick whatever you want. So Drew and I went inside. We just walked around, or he walked around. I followed him. He mostly just stood by the automatic doors, making it open and close over and over again, getting in people's way. Yeah, he was that kid. But I don't care. And Erica went and shopped. And we got everything. We got tons of flowers and plants. We got potting soil, which we needed. We got some some outdoor welcome mats that Erica wanted. If you're looking for outdoor decorations, flowers, plants, trees, shrubs, just plant something. Beautify your outdoor spaces, and Clegg's can help. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Buy local, shop local, tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more.
Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, reliefwindows.com. The other thing that came out of our companion show, as Muso just reminded me, is a Muso blind date segment. We're going to set up Muso on blind dates, and then we'll bring his date onto the show.
Well, maybe.
And we'll talk about that.
We might do that.
I think this is going to happen. Paul, how many was that?
That was 4.
4, okay. I've got my what I learned today.
Oh, dear Lord.
What?
It's going to be Paul sneezes, isn't it?
5.
Can we get a Paul sneeze counter for the rest of the week?
We're going to do dingers.
It's just the bell,
or just get a
in the corner of the screen,
or a sound effect of someone sneezing, and we can keep, Paul. Can we keep a counter, like a ticker in the bottom part of the screen? Can you create a bot that stays there, and every time you sneeze, we tick it up?
I'm sure I could.
Okay, I would love to do that to track how many times over the course of a show you sneeze. Now you're doing it off mic, which is fine, but every time you do it and Muso hears it, he'll have to hit the bell.
Just randomly.
Randomly. Hit the bell. Hit the bell.
Oh.
Or a sneeze sound effect, and then we just see the ticker go. You have to have sneezed 30 times today.
Probably.
I mean, I'm serious. Like, at least 30 times.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. My guy's struggling over there. I was like, do you need a Zyrtec? You need a Claritin? What do you need? I got you. I'll help you. He's like, no, I'm good. Have you taken anything today?
Not today, no.
Paul, help me help you. Christ almighty, man. You're over there sneezing 100 times.
It went from 30 to 100?
Well, I'm talking about the whole day.
Okay, well, that's fair.
This is we've been on air. All right, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's Otter Locks.
Otter Locks. Otter Locks.
All right, we welcome aboard the one and only, the incomparable, and often incomprehensible Jimmy Ott. How are you, Otter?
How you doing, Matthew? What's going on, buddy? How was your weekend?
I'm doing way better than Paul. Guy can't stop sneezing, Otter.
Paul's streaky, boy. You know, when he starts filling up the sneeze box, boy, they just keep coming.
I mean, can I get odds? Can you get Colucci to get me odds, some over-under on the number of sneezes for Paul in a day?
Yeah, sneezes, yeah, 6.5.
6.5?
Yeah.
I mean, do you mean in the first segment of the show or for the whole day? The whole day, I'll go take out a second mortgage on my house, take all of that money and put it on the over, and I'll cash that ticket by 3:15.
Poor Paul.
I know, my guy's over there struggling. Otter offered him a Zyrtec, offered him a Claritin. He's like, no, I'm good.
Hey, do us all a favor, Paul. Take it, okay?
Yeah, for real, man.
I mean, come on.
Take
it for the team.
Clean it up, man.
A little chilly in there.
No,
that's
good.
right. It gets cold in there. So, I mean, he's really, when he gets on a roll, yeah, that'll increase it a lot. So,
All right, what we got tonight, Otter?
All right. You may have heard that some of the players, including LeBron James, they do not want to be in the play-in, in that
Correct.
7th seed.
Yeah.
Guess who's one game ahead of the Lakers after going into tonight's play? The Portland Trailblazers. And they don't want to be in that 7th spot either. So they play the Houston Rockets tonight. The Jazz were up 24 on the Rockets before they pulled their players, and the Rockets finished on a 14-0 run to end the game on 10. Portland is not going to let up. They don't want to take any chances with this. They're going to crush the Rockets. Check out their starting lineup tonight. You talk about really, really weak. They are minus like 7 different players tonight. Portland routed San Antonio on Saturday night. They'll do the same to the Rockets. I don't usually lay 14, but, bro, I got to lay it in this spot. Because
okay, bro.
You are watching some of these teams, like the Lakers. Lakers played great last night, trying to avoid that number 6 seed. I mean, wire-to-wire, double digits against Phoenix, and AD looked really good. Also in Major League Baseball tonight, Texas, Kyle Gibson, kind of like, boy, this is going to be a really long season for the Texas Rangers with Kyle Gibson as the opening day starter. But check this out. Against San Francisco, and San Francisco has been a real surprise this year, but Texas is 12 and now they're one game under 500 for the season, 12-4 versus left-handed starters, which Alex Wood is tonight. Gibson plus 140. That's a big, big price coming back in a favorable pitching matchup, in a split matchup as well. And also the last three situations where a team was looking for a 4-game sweep, they all won. Boston's looking for the same thing tonight. Kind of payback. Remember, they started out the season losing 4 in a row at Fenway to the Baltimore Orioles. Boston, one of the best hitting teams. They are the best hitting team in all of baseball. Boston minus the number in that one. So the Rangers, the Red Sox, and the Portland Trailblazers.
All right, Otter. What you got coming up on the show tonight?
Hitting bomb, baby. Getting that beach bod ready, man. Eating good over here. The salmon, the tuna. You kind of recreate the fresh. You play the chef. That's what we like to do over here. Get a nice crowd over here.
Finbomb also, right, by the way, has an Air and Surface Pro from My Clean Living. So it's one of the air purifiers that one of our sponsors sells. So it's right there by the drink machine, the little black box. So every table, the air that you cannot be in a cleaner place in Baton Rouge.
There you go.
So check it out.
I'm not seasoned. Paul, how about you?
Get out of here. Jimmy on Game Time with Jimmy on follows us in Baton Rouge. Thank you, Otter. Have a great show. Muso.
That was awesome. That was a good one.
What did you learn today?
Arch Manning not interested in LSU and Ole Miss.
Well, I didn't say that.
That's what he said.
That's not what he said.
He said that.
Paulie?
Kenny Mayne leaving ESPN.
Yeah.
What'd you learn, Matt?
Paul! Can't stop sneezing, man. See you tomorrow.
AFR.
Brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. Get to the website. It is just a wealth of information on the website at Michelli.com for Michelli Weighing and Measurement, our country's largest distributor of scales. Crazy, right? They're right there in Harahan. Been in business since 1947, but they do so much, like calibration. Here's what I would recommend you do. If you're in any one of the industries where you hear me say it all the time, if you weigh or measure something, they sell, rent, and service the products you use to weigh and measure. Go to services and then calibration on the drop down, and you will see all of the different services that they offer. You can request a quote. You can ship your equipment to them. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. It's all right there for you. So many times people go to the website and they go, oh, I didn't know you do that. Mass, torque, scale, force, physical, dimensional, temperature, all of it. Learn more at Michelli.com. Michelli Weighing and Measurement, 29 offices. Michelli.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier